800-668-6655. That's 800-668-6655. Again, that's 800-668-6655.
With Target, checking off your Valentine's Day list has never been easier. First, surprise your favorite people with something extra thoughtful, like a soothing candle in a memorable scent, or a decorative picture frame to show
My check engine light's on?
That could hurt your gas mileage. The AutoZone free Fix Finder service can help find the fix for free.
This whole report.
From the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on The Fan. In the association, the Toronto Raptors and newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 27-28 season. The Lakers, still looking to solve their void in the paint, have signed free agent center Alex Len and waived Christian Wood to make room on the roster. In the college game, the Ducks are back at it tonight, hosting the Northwestern Wildcats at Matthew Knight Arena. That'll tip just after 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network and right here on The Fan. Pregame coverage on The Fan starts at 7:30. The Ducks are 9.5-point favorites. In the NFL, as expected, the New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. Reports indicate that Moore will be tabbing former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the team's defensive coordinator. And Super Bowl TV ratings are in. The broadcast averaged 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. On the diamond, the Dodgers and 3-time Cy Young winner Clayton Kershaw have agreed to a 1-year deal that will bring the former A's back for an 18th season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
Hear this, right now.
Welcome. Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
What is going on up here?
I never know, man.
Unbiased.
Shut your mouth.
Uncompromised sports talk without the sugarcoating.
I hope you're happy. You wasted everyone's life for 30 seconds.
Isaac Rupp and Jason Sukanik.
Now shut up and let me do my job.
The best in sports coverage.
This is gonna be great.
This is Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, what it do?
Ahoy!
What's up?
Why are you going there?
Why you going there?
Ready? Hot. I don't know. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I don't know. It's like what?
Who's winning?
We can talk about Cam Newton. It's like,
Oh, why? What did he say?
he's pissing people off.
Oh,
Again.
I don't care about him.
Exactly.
Hey, can we
There's
talk
like
about
nothing else going on?
Well, you know, it's kind of that we warned you yesterday. The day after the Super Bowl is fun, and we do all the Super Bowl bits and stuff.
And then it's like,
and then like today, the day after the day after, it starts our new sports radio year, and there's really. It's like,
do you want to know how sad my?
It's like easing into a hot tub.
You know how sad my show prep was today, and this is 100% true.
It included watching Willy Wonka last night.
Let me just state for the record.
What?
Willy Wonka was on last night.
I saw Suk tweet last night that he was watching Willy Wonka.
Yeah. I was flipping through because the Blazers.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie.
The film?
The film. The 1971 classic.
The original?
Well. So the Blazer game ends, even though it was over. So I got home and I flip on the Blazer game, and they're just getting their asses.
They lose by 30?
Oh, it's brutal. Jokic had a 4-piece in like 2.5 quarters.
I hear Ayton's out.
Yeah, so this is the one. So I see Ayton. Ayton gets hurt, and it doesn't look good. Non-contact calf injury, and they had to carry him off. You're like, oh, hell. Here it comes.
Perfect.
And then
I mean, you don't want a guy to get hurt, but
well, and if it's one thing if it's a calf strain, but when you see non-contact lower leg grabbing at your calf, you're like,
Start thinking Achilles.
Achilles. And then Scoot rolled his ankle, which didn't look serious, but he didn't come back in.
Magic Johnson.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't watch this. The Nuggets seemingly scored like 97 baskets in a row. They couldn't freaking miss. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. And I flip over and I'm just scrolling the channels, and the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka, the
new one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's new, but it was the newer one with Johnny Depp.
I thought they just had a new one.
I think Timothée Chalamet did one.
Oh.
So this is the Johnny Depp one, which I hadn't seen before, so I check it out, and it's very, very weird. And I was like, let me just, so I go find the old one, a little nostalgia. So I turn on the Gene Wilder 1971, and we're sitting there, and my gal is on the couch, and at one point she turns to me and goes, "Why are you getting so mad?" And I realized that I'm literally yelling at the TV because I forgot how much of a sack of you-know-what Grandpa Joe is. I viscerally get angry when I see that hunk of crap. He might be my least favorite character in movie history.
And this is the original Grandpa
The
Joe?
original.
So
Well,
who plays?
I don't know, some old codger piece of crap.
I mean, like, look, if you had movies on the bingo card, an easy bingo would be one of the spots be Isaac hasn't seen it.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever seen Willy Wonka.
You've never seen the original Willy Wonka?
I don't think so.
Oompa loompa doopity doo. I've got another riddle. I love that.
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I
I'm a
know
big
of
fan.
it, but
Yeah.
I can't tell you what happens. I don't know who Ned is. Or who
Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe. I don't know who
Yeah.
that is.
So look.
By the way, there are three of them.
There's three?
So 1971.
That's the original. The OG.
Johnny Depp 2005.
Yeah.
And then Timothée Chalamet 2023.
I haven't seen that one. But I checked out the Johnny Depp one last night, punted on it about, I don't know, half hour in, went back to the original, and I just didn't realize how fired up I was getting because apparently I was cursing at Grandpa Joe.
Is he just cranky? I mean, he looks cranky. I just Googled him.
The whole premise is, right, Willy Wonka is the old eccentric kook living in the chocolate factory, and no one's seen him in years. And then he sends out 5 golden tickets, and if you get one, you get to go tour the factory, and you get to take one family member, right? And so poor Charlie is like this poor down and out kid, like they're destitute, they're starving. And in the house, right, it's Charlie, his mom and his dad, and the 4 grandparents.
Both sets of grandparents.
Both sets of grandparents.
They were ahead of their time.
Sleeping in the same bed.
And sitting there all day, too.
Invalids. They literally haven't left the bed in years. Shut-ins. Laying in bed, foot to foot, which, by the way, imagine the smell of 4 old people who haven't been out of bed in a decade. Bedpans underneath the bed because they can't get up to go to the bathroom. And then Charlie wins the golden ticket, right? He gets to go to the factory and take one person with him. And guess who's the first guy that leaps out of bed and says, "I'm going with you"? That sack of you-know-what, Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, he's done that twice now.
Yeah. And then he starts dancing.
He's doing like a jig.
He starts doing a jig and dancing around. Like,
it's really poor form.
You old sack. You've been sandbagging.
Mom's been grinding 2 jobs, working her hands to the bone.
And you're just laying there complaining about cabbage soup. Meanwhile, you've been mobile this entire time. You've got dance number. Charlie is shining shoes in his spare time to earn a quarter for the family. And yet there's Grandpa Joe, can't do anything until it's time to tour the factory. And then Grandpa Joe tries to screw over Charlie multiple times in the chocolate factory.
Ah.
Yeah. He's the biggest
Sounds
piece of
terrible.
crap in film.
I don't know what to say.
I hate him. If I ever met Grandpa
seen the
Joe,
film,
I'd punch
Isaac?
a hole through him.
Are you paying attention to our
No,
show?
there's something else going on that Dusty's going to discuss with you in the break.
Oh.
So, no, I wasn't earlier.
Yeah, no, I said I don't think I've seen it.
Okay, that's interesting.
I probably have seen it, but I don't think I have. I don't
Yeah.
remember
Okay.
it. I don't know this Grandpa Joe character.
Doesn't
sound like I want to.
I wanted Willy Wonka at the end to be like, Charlie, you can bring the entire family except Grandpa Joe. Your old ass is getting
Who
kicked to the
should
curb.
Charlie have brought in?
Anyone other than Grandpa Joe.
Probably the parents.
The
right?
parents.
Mom or dad.
Yeah.
His mom, a single mom, right?
And by the way, no, the mom and dad were there.
There's a dad?
There's a dad.
I
And
didn't
by
think
the
there was a
way, guess who didn't give anyone else the chance? Grandpa Joe's just like, I'm going. I haven't been out of bed in 20 years, but here I come. Screw you.
All right.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
it's that time of year.
I wasn't going to talk about that.
Willy
but
Wonka.
Buck brought it up.
That was part of your award-winning show prep.
So you were watching Willy Wonka
Yeah.
while I was knee-deep in basketball
Hey, I watched the Blazer game.
for this show.
No, you were probably asleep. You were undoubtedly asleep.
What time?
This was after the
After the Blazer game,
This
so-
is all
I
going
was still
down.
awake when the Blazer game ended.
Oh, okay.
The
I
Blazer
was
game
watching
ended
the-
around what 8:30, 9ish.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And my Wonka adventure went from probably 9:15ish into the I don't know, maybe 11 o'clock.
I was watching
And
the
yes,
end
maybe
of-
there was a cocktail that fueled my anger of Grandpa Joe. What does that have to do with anything?
I was watching the end of Landman last night at that time, and I checked the score and went, "Whoa!"
Yeah, they got drilled.
What happened to the Blazers being good?
Well, the Timberwolves and the Nuggets are both good, and
Oh, is that what it is?
and the
When you
Blazers are
play
beat up a
good
little
teams, you're not good.
bit. Yeah,
Is that what it is?
well,
But when you play bad teams, you're good. Is that what?
it's possible.
Is that where we're at?
Or maybe the tank's
Hey,
back on.
this is a basketball show. For those that don't know, we cover football because we have to,
Mhm.
but we're really a basketball show. As most people know, we are the basketball show at the Fan, and
Yeah.
it's basketball season.
What about Four Nations hockey?
Because we're a basketball show.
I'd rather be a hockey show.
Well,
It's not happening.
I'd rather talk about Willy Wonka than hockey.
My original point was how sad my show prep was before Buck threw
Yeah.
me the curveball and got me started
It is
on,
Buck's fault.
on Willy Wonka.
You notice how he's blamed you twice here?
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
set out to rage at Grandpa Joe.
no,
that
it's-
was a
you
Twitter.
can't help it. It's Buck's fault.
That was a Twitter
True story.
rage.
Yeah.
I did spend 20 minutes today going over Four Nations, which has no. It's just the All-Star hockey game. Yeah, I spent 20 minutes going over their lineups today, and I
What's Four
realized I
Nations?
was like, instead of the All-Star game this year, they're doing a Four Nations hockey tournament.
Canada, U.S.
Canada, U.S., Sweden, and Finland. And I realized as I'm doing this, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Stupid.
I actually sat down to prepare for the show, and I found myself going over the Finland's third line, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about this one. And I realized that's when there's literally nothing going on in the world of sports.
Power rank the four.
I'm going Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland.
Okay.
The Finland goalie situation in their forwards, it's tough. But Canada's a little spotty at the goaltending position as well. But God, their forwards, their top six, it's just stupid.
That's what I thought.
It's silly.
It is pretty silly.
Yeah.
I mean, who has 6 players like that?
McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon.
It's unbelievable.
It's just
Is that kid any good? Remember that kid? Maybe it was Connor McDavid? Was he the number 1 draft pick a couple years ago?
Oh, you're thinking Connor Bedard?
Yeah.
Bedard.
Is he good?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
really
Yeah?
good.
His team stinks, but he's very.
He turned
very
out to be good, huh?
Yes. Every time they've had a generational hockey prospect, he has lived up to the hype.
And this year's kid, Macklin Celebrini, has been very
Yeah.
good as well.
So, and like in the recent, like kind of the last, let's say the last 15 to 20 years, Crosby was billed that way, and he is certainly lived up to it. McDavid lived up to it, and Nathan McKinnon lived up to it, and the Bedard kid certainly is on his way, but he's young.
Well, the listeners are texting in that the dad on Willy Wonka is not there. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess he's there in the Johnny Depp one.
He's
Oh,
gone.
okay, yeah. In the old one, it's
In the
just
old
the single
one,
mom
it's
and the 4
just
grandparents.
the mom and the grands. Yeah, in the Johnny Depp one, both parents are there. The dad works at a toothpaste factory.
Well, that's what you're gonna get for the next 6 months.
If you thought that was a curveball, Dusty Hara has the curveball of all curveballs coming in at the break.
Why does it have to be at the break?
Yeah, what are we doing?
There's a lot to unpack here.
Are we doing something important now?
I don't know, maybe.
Is it sportsy?
No, it is most definitely not sportsy.
Interesting.
He's going to have to explain the situation.
Well, up
to you.
next, Suk will break down the plot of Fiddler on the Roof.
Nice.
I watched Les Mis the other day. We can talk about that.
Goulet. No, we're a
Hear
basketball.
Song of Angry Men.
We're a basketball show. We're ready to go. We got to talk about Luka, all this other cool stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I tried watching the Laker game after the Blazer game was over. I lasted like 8 seconds.
I feel like we have to auto hate Luka now.
Really?
I do.
Why is that?
Well, because he's a Laker.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the more success that they have, we're going to start hating him.
I'm more rooting for the implosion of the Mavericks, and I don't know if you saw, but
I did see.
another one of their big guys went down last night.
They have no one left.
There's no one left, and they actually booted. And this is why the Mavericks to me are the Grandpa Joe of sports franchises. Did you see where they kicked a guy out of their game?
Yeah.
We're
going to do a whole segment on that today.
They wouldn't put anyone on the Jumbotron after the trade because they didn't want anyone, like holding signs, and there was protests outside. So they decided to put someone up on the Jumbotron for the first time since the debacle of a trade. And the guy just, like, you can't hear him, but he mouths into the camera, "Fire Nico."
Yeah.
And they booted him.
He's out.
Dude, that's soft-ass Grandpa Joe organization.
Free speech.
That's what we're doing now?
Oh, wait, not free speech.
We're kicking people out of games?
That is what we're doing, apparently.
So if I go to the Blazer game and you catch me on the Jumbotron and I say, "Jody, sell the team," you're just going to run me?
That is worse than if you drop a bunch of F-bombs
around
my kids.
That's ridiculous.
Well, that's on the docket today.
All right.
I have hot beret talk, too.
Beret talk?
Like Green Berets or Lewinsky Berets? What are we talking about here?
Beret.
Oh, yeah, Lewinsky did go with the beret, huh? You don't see a lot of berets.
You never see the beret.
No.
But there is a major sports figure is rocking the beret.
Really?
Yeah. You guys haven't seen who it is?
No.
I don't think I have.
Dudes.
No.
Dudes.
There's a kid in my neighborhood that wears a sword and a duster.
A sword and a duster?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, I see him walking I believe he's walking to school at times, and he wears a duster, and then occasionally he's got a sword, and he seems like a nice enough kid. He always pets my dog. The duster alone is quite alarming, but then when you add the sword to it, I don't really know what to make of it. But
How old?
I'd say probably 14, 15 years old. But he carries a sword, and it's like on a belt, and it's like one of the, what do you call like the army swords? I don't know what you call those. The curvy swords. I don't know, like you would see like a Civil War.
Like a sickle?
Yeah, I guess. Like one of those. Yeah, and he wears it on a belt, and he walks around. He's in the park a lot, and he wears a duster and a sword. He seems like a nice enough kid. Something tells me, though, probably a little lonely. It's my initial reaction. Seems a little lonely.
He's getting a lot of girls with that, and he's leaning into it.
Does the duster and the sword combo, does that play
It
well?
might these days.
I don't know.
You and I were a little far removed from
Yeah,
that.
I am not in what the 8th graders are into, but, he kind of puts off that lonely vibe. It seems like a nice kid.
Well, we've got
Saber. That's what we're looking
a saber. Okay,
he carries a saber.
Is it like lit up?
That's a lightsaber.
That'd be a lightsaber. Yeah, like a cavalry saber. I've never actually seen him draw the sword, but it's on his belt.
Did you guys see the lightsaber in Willy Wonka?
I did not see the lightsaber in Willy Wonka.
Did you see the chocolate factory in Star Wars?
What? No, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a show.
Yeah, it's one of those. Well, it's
I
Buck.
hate to tell you guys.
Buck derailed us with the Willy Wonka thing at the beginning.
Just wait.
Dusty's in here for some reason. I don't know why. He should probably be coaching kids or something, but he's not. And he's waiting patiently to come in here, but I'm just not breaking for that reason.
We are on TV as well.
Hi.
Yeah.
CW. Well, we're the basketball show of record. We talk basketball to kick it off next on The Fan.
Yeah.
The Fan.
Okay, so do you want to come in here?
Things are happening.
He's still here.
Things are happening.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna take this segment. We're gonna pivot and take this segment to tell you about something that just happened. Dusty is here. He is of noon to 3 fame on the Fan. His name is Dusty Hera. Everybody.
The Fan Man.
Hey, long time no talking.
So you were hanging out. You were waiting to tell us something.
Yeah.
So you left your show. You went out to the parking lot, and what happened?
Well, there's a lot of weird stuff happens when you're coming and going from this building.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first time. This was something that would happen to Sook.
I'm glad it didn't happen to me and it happened to someone else
Yeah.
because it always does happen to me.
Yeah.
And people are like, really? I'm glad finally someone else caught a stray.
Yeah, I walk out of the building and there's a man who, well, the best description I can give you is he's very ZZ Top looking fella.
Yeah.
And
Was he homeless?
No. He was very nice. Super nice guy.
Are you sure he wasn't homeless? Sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard to tell between artistic and homeless.
Well, especially around here.
Especially if you're like
Yeah.
a go-getter homeless. There's levels to it.
Well, as the story goes, I think he's doing pretty well.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he goes, hey, is this Odyssey where Isaac and Zook are? And I was like,
Oh,
yep.
boy.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Oh,
can I get to him? I'm like, well, no, they're on the air. Which
Well, by
is
the way, thank
standard.
God that your answer wasn't yes. If someone says, can I get to him? The answer to that question is no. It's a heavily fortified building.
Yeah, right. We got security.
You should have let him straight in. He was like, yeah, they're right in there. Here you go.
Come on in. Let me walk you to him.
Good
I
luck.
was-
Bye.
I was so close to letting him do that. But I was like, no, is there something that you need? And he's like, I need to get something to him. This is for Mike Lynch. And at that point, obviously, perked my interest, attention. He goes into his backpack and he gets out a brown sack with Mike's name written on it.
Oh, no.
The only thing that is the saving grace of this is that it was for Mike Lynch, because if ZZ Top, who may or may not be homeless or an artist, says, I got something for someone, and then reaches into into his backpack and produces a crumpled brown sack, that's usually your indication to run.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the other direction, preferably in a zigzag pattern.
Side note, or actually,
look, I'm primed to get stabbed.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to get shot.
Yeah, okay.
Because Sook and I were thinking the exact same thing as you were telling us the story off the air.
Yeah.
He reaches into his bag. It's like, oh, right there. I'm like,
you
either
gotta run.
tackling
But
him.
I have something for Mike Lynch was very diffusing in this.
That is better, because if he said I have something for like Isaac or Sook
I'm
or
out.
something for you,
I'm
you
out.
can't wait around to see
No.
what that is.
No.
You got to run.
If it was I have something for those two guys, I would have been like, nope. I'm not. That's not how I'm going out.
So don't say what's in it just yet. I want the people to guess what was in the bag. What's in the bag?
I can tell you that he said the first thing he pulls out of a bag, was a newspaper clipping, and he said, "I am a street performer. Here is my a character sketch of him as a street performer."
What is he? What is he doing? What's he performing? Is he one of those guys that like pretends to be a statue?
No, he's playing a guitar.
Yeah.
He's playing a guitar.
Okay.
And he definitely, from the sketch, he looks like a homeless ZZ Top. It's
well, the ZZ Top look homeless.
They think that's ZZ Top.
Yeah. I mean, they're great. I love ZZ Top.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they looked homeless.
Well, but Billy Gibbons is a sharp-dressed man. This guy has more of a Portland ZZ Top vibe. Like Sasquatch meets ZZ Top meets street performer. And the when you showed me the bag, I was terrified of what was in the bag because, again, there's varying degrees of brown paper sacks.
Yep.
This one had seen some stuff. This was not a sack that you got from Starbucks, put something in it. This man has had this sack for a while.
It was a reused Grand Central Bakery bag.
Yes.
It's a sourdough bread bag, very crinkly.
A few times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple things have gone in and out of that
He's
bag.
like my mom. He keeps every bag since
Yes.
1970.
Yes.
Do we have guesses?
Okay, so I want the people to. Okay, so he pulls out a newspaper clipping.
Yeah.
And then also he has a card in there. He puts a card in there.
Yeah.
And it says Jeek Seezus.
Yep.
So
And that's it. No number, no nothing. It just says Jeek Seezus.
yeah.
Which,
So
by the way, I
that's a
love
whole
that he
nother
had. And by the way, this is a printed card.
I'd also like to. I think there's some context here that as radio men, we're on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to.
Stalkers?
Yeah, or
Super
like
fans?
celebrity. Yeah,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
I mean, we're on the pole.
Yeah.
but barely.
Yeah.
Like we're at the very bottom.
I
So
mean,
what that means
we're
is,
on a side stage for sure.
and I'm sure you've gotten this.
100%.
I know Suk has.
Yeah.
I certainly have. We've gotten some really weird things. Like people are very thoughtful, but also sometimes they're very odd with their gifts.
And they don't realize that their genuine gift from their heart comes across as like severed doll head weird.
It's very odd.
It's-
At times, not always.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some cool stuff. I don't know what
really
the
cool
coolest stuff you've gotten. One guy never listened to our show. His wife did.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he was an artist. So he goes, I'm just going to paint those two. And he
That
went
was
and looked
awesome.
us up online and he sent us a cool
Yeah,
watercolor.
Yeah.
That's
of
awesome.
Suk and I.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
That's
he's
really
like, I
cool.
don't even know who you guys are, but my wife loves you, so here's watercolor of you. I thought that was cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
We got the Tiger Woods bobbleheads. Remember when we got all like the Tiger Slam bobbleheads?
Yeah.
Which came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
Somebody just left him, right? Didn't
they just left them on the front.
Yeah, we've had
the
some
front
very thoughtful
stuff, yeah.
gifts, and then we've got some that you're like, I may have to seek a restraining order, and you try to be polite about it. But look, this is hands down one of
This
these
is-
stranger interactions that we've
Okay.
that we've had.
And we got guesses on the YouTube as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I know we do on the text line.
Okay, give us some YouTube guesses, and then I'll.
One person says a CD,
Okay.
being that he's a street performer. Another person says it's a taped song that he wrote for Mike. Someone else says it's weed. Someone else says it's $10,000.
I'm not gonna lie.
$10,000.
My first thought was indeed drugs.
Yeah.
I just
Well, okay, so we
the
also
way the
have
guy
to say,
looked, the rumpled sack. Look, that's the sack that drugs come in. It just is.
yeah, it does look like a bag of
Yes.
dope.
Yes.
100%. We should say too, if you don't know, Mike Lynch, our former producer, does have ALS.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's been battling that for the better part of the last, I think, year
and a half ish.
Year and a half. Yeah. So on the text line, they're guessing Skittles.
Oh. Okay.
Of course, drugs, cocaine.
Yeah.
Another one says, I'm going to say it's cash. His ear.
Oh.
Someone says Mike's favorite beer. Good guess.
Yeah, that's a
great
good guess. Yeah,
that's a great
Grumpy
guess.
cat coffee mug. I'm guessing some sort of clay sculpture.
I enjoy the bag of flaming poo.
All right.
It does look like the sort of bag that would contain. I don't know about flaming, but look, if you open that bag and there was human turds in it, I
Yeah.
would not be floored. I'd be like,
Well, that's just it. Is like I don't think any of us could have, like it could have been anything, and we probably wouldn't be shocked, right?
No. Right.
like you just never know. So Dusty, what was in the bag?
To my shock, he then opened the bag and faced me. It was a bag full of cash. Which
The
is
cash guy's got it right.
Yeah.
Just giving him cash.
Yeah, it is the beauty of this station and your guys' dumb show.
Yeah.
Is that this guy said he listened, he wanted to help Mike, and he said he wanted to spread his happiness
Love that.
that he had gotten from playing music for people and give a little something for Mike.
It's awesome.
And it was a bag full of cash. I don't know how much cash is in this bag, but it was a bag full of cash.
the bag
that
full
he
of
gave.
bag full of ones, all
Yeah.
bundled up, and
Yeah.
it was in there loose, just like he just rustled them like a bag of cotton candy, just
Yeah.
a bunch of ones thrown in there.
So he
Good times.
Am I
Yeah.
to believe that that Jeek Cezus
Yes.
went and played some tunes on the streets,
Yeah.
got some tips,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
put him in his old was it a Grand Central
And
Bakery bag
He said, I
and
said,
brought it down here.
I go, wow. And I was like, well, what's your name? And he said, don't want anybody to know my name.
Oh, I love people like this.
Yeah.
He said, I just want to spread my happiness, and he was gone.
And he did.
Yeah.
He spread his happiness.
That's awesome.
So
Jeek Cezus.
Jeek Cezus, thank you.
And it also
I'll be
shows-
looking for you out there.
It shows the breadth of your reach of this show.
It is.
Yeah, how does he even hear us?
I don't know.
You know?
Well,
P1.
Yeah.
P1.
He's out there,
P1.
ear to the street, man.
Yeah. As you guys both
Yeah.
accused him of maybe being a homeless man.
Well, he might be.
It's
He's a P1, and that was awesome. I was stunned.
Did you look in it while he was present?
No, well, he showed it to me, and then he handed it to me,
Ah,
and I was like,
okay.
I first of all don't know what I'm gonna do
You're
with
like,
this.
wow.
All right, let's now
go to Wells Fargo.
I was
Gotta get to sing
thinking
Mike
more like
Lynch.
the Shady Lady right up the road. It's a bunch of singles. We have ourselves a grand old time, but we should probably give it to Mike.
Yeah.
Look, I think
that's the play here.
Well, I think we all get together and we ruminate on it a little bit. We take a day or two and we come up with some ideas. But I'm saying I think right now the leader in the clubhouse is giving it to Mike Lynch, but also let's not discount the Shady Lady. I mean,
I think you're really wanting that karma to. You're playing a dicey game here, friend.
Would there be? From a karma standpoint, is there something worse that you could do than a hard-earned $300-ish that a street performer made through his own hard work and gives it to our producer suffering from ALS than to take that money and go and blow it at a strip club? I don't know if there is a worse
I don't think so.
karmic justice coming your way than that.
Because you're not even stealing from somebody you don't know. Like a lot of these charity ripoffs, where this money is going.
Oh no. It's going to some gal named Venom with no eyebrows.
Did you take a delivery fee?
Just paying her way through college.
Paying her way through. Yeah, get like a 10% finder's fee.
I'm not taking any of the. I am not messing with the karmic justice that this could deal me.
Oh,
well, thank you, Dusty.
Yeah, no,
that was amazing.
That was amazing.
I'm glad you got to experience ZZ Top Cashman face to face.
I am too. Sometimes you walk out of the building at the right time,
and a hero arrives.
Yeah,
a man of increase.
You know what? That is true.
Being a man of increase?
Jesus is indeed a man of increase.
Yeah.
He is a man of increase.
I mean, that's just a cool thing.
It was badass, man. It was awesome.
And
it was really cool.
So I text Mike. Sometimes he can be hard to get a hold of, but maybe he'll text me back. I showed him I put out the cash, laid it on the table.
Well, and
right
we've
next
got
to the cocaine.
We've got a couple people at the station that I know.
I'm gonna put it in the vault.
Yeah, would be able to.
Let's get it to Mikey.
We're gonna get it to Mike. Yeah, we're gonna put it in the vault until we can track him down.
Think about this. Just again, I'm ruminating here. Okay.
Yeah.
No Shady Lady.
I
Okay.
don't like this.
But we've got a couple $100. A. Why give Mike $300 when we can give Mike several thousands of dollars? Huh?
I mean, or $0.
Are you
with
me?
Winners?
I mean,
you got a few winners.
What would we? Okay, so let's talk this out.
All right. Yeah.
What if we go up there?
I like this. We think.
What would we place it on? Like, what do you do?
Well, I mean,
most people do red or black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now they have the board up there that shows you what the numbers have been.
Yeah, what they've been.
If it's been a run of black, would you bet red or black? Or if it's been a run of red,
I'd go red.
If there's one thing,
you go Oppo.
I'd go Oppo.
Oh no, Wesley Snipes has taught me one thing, and that's always bet on black. I mean, who are we to go?
No matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Who are we to go against Wesley Snipes?
What if we put it on green?
Think about the return.
Then we're giving him way
Giving
more.
him a
What's
lot
that, like 35, 36 to 1 or something?
35 to 1 if you hit a 0.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. We're three
I think that's
sportsmen.
right.
We could find a 15-leg parlay that I think.
Well, on the YouTube, Harley says we need a TGL Tuesday bad so that we can put it
exactly.
on TGL.
Exactly.
We do.
Right? I mean, come
Put
on.
Mike's money on the TGL. Who's going to explain it to Mike when we lose?
Again, as someone points out, would Mike rather have $300 or the chance at $30,000? See,
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
This is
Probably
why I
the
said let's
latter.
not rush to any sort of decision. We've got some time. Let's ruminate.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make sure you don't have this bag of cash. We're going to get it to Mike.
Well, to be fair, it was intended for me and Rob to possess said money.
Again, I think karma working in
I love
the world
how Suk just spins it
put
into
me in
getting
that
his-
spot at that moment.
Yeah, I think that's
because
right. To
Rob
keep it
would-
out of the hands of Suk.
Rob would have run and or just not acknowledged him. Suk would have laid him out, and then
I still would have had the money.
Still would have had the money.
You know?
I think in that moment, I was supposed to be the man.
That's probably
Yeah, it
to
all
get
worked
that sack
out.
of cash.
It
I
all
do
worked
think
out.
Jeebus may have been looking down and wanted it to go to you. But what's the hey, the biblical parable, right? Like the talents, you don't bury your talent. No, you spread you invest. You invest. I just think the casino's calling us. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody said we should go gamble it, and then if we lose it, we'll just replace it with our own money.
See?
But if we do win money,
Yeah.
then it can all go to Mike.
See?
That's not a bad. That's not a bad way to go.
I feel a weekend trip coming on. I mean, is there anything to bet on this weekend?
I mean,
Text line says, I'm pretty sure this is a plot to many movies. Results may vary.
yeah.
Results may vary.
yeah, and that.
Well, Mike would bet it $1 at a time, so maybe we do that.
That's depressing. I say we go all in.
And they are singles.
Mike was a sports gambler.
Mike was a sports gambler. $1
or
at
is.
a time.
I don't know if he still is, but he was, and he would bet $1.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the size of your unit. It's how you use them, okay? I mean,
is.
small units are fine to gamble with. You don't need to just be not everybody lives at the Ropp estate, right? I mean, he had his singles.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. I'm just saying, in honor of him, let's
do that.
It is
Let's bet
appropriate that we do have a bunch of singles because Mike was a dollar better.
Dollar better.
Better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeek Caesar, ZZ Top
Yes.
Golf Cash
That was
Guy.
awesome, dude.
Thank you, fan man.
And thank you, Dan. What's your name?
Dan?
Danny.
Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan.
He's the headliner on your show, right?
Dan and Danny.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm outta
Listen
here.
to Dusty and Danny noon to 3 here on the Fan.
Or Danny and Dusty. Dusty and Danny is actually another show
Oh, is it?
with Dusty Dvorak and Danny Cannell.
Wait,
Yeah.
your show is Dusty and Danny?
No, we are Danny and
Danny
Dusty.
and Dusty.
The other one is Dusty and Danny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is why they.
Do you work here?
Yeah, I'm here, aren't I? Just don't.
Just be happy he's aware of your show.
I know. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate you.
I see you every day. I love you. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, we'll be back. Here's Buck with sports.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan. In the association, the Toronto Raptors' newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram has agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 27-28 season. The Lakers, still looking to solve their void in the paint, have signed free agent center Alex Len and waived forward Christian Wood to make room on the roster. In the college game, the Ducks are back at it tonight, hosting the Northwestern Wildcats at Matthew Knight Arena. That'll tip off just around 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network and right here on the Fan. Pre-game coverage from Eugene will start at 7:30. The Ducks are 9.5-point favorites in that one. In the NFL, as expected, the New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. Reports indicate that Moore will also be tabbing former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the Saints' defensive coordinator. Super Bowl TV ratings are in. The broadcast averaged over 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. And on the diamond, the Dodgers and 3-time Cy Young winner Clayton Kershaw have agreed to a 1-year deal that will bring the former ace back to L.A. for an 18th season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Mash the subscribe button and like us for live streaming video and 1080 The Fan on demand.
Hey, it's Suk. When you think of upgrading the outside of your home, think Vulcan Design and Construction. You've heard me talk about their award-winning outdoor living designs, but they do it all. Windows, roofing, siding, so to take your home
Prime Time with Isaac and Suk on 1080 The Fan.
All right, well, now we're behind schedule, but
It happens.
a little bit of an organic moment there.
Yeah, things were happening.
I got to
Look,
tell you,
the show got off to a weird start, and then we just kind of steered.
Got
into
weirder.
We steered into the skid, and at that point, what are you gonna do?
bags of cash, man. Bags of cash. So I got to tell you who's been wearing a beret. It's really bothering me. Well, it's not bothering me. You wear whatever you want. I don't care.
What?
But it's just such an odd thing because you just don't see anyone wearing berets.
No, I'm trying to think of. I mean, outside of Ferris Bueller, which was like 30 years ago, I'm not really certain the last time someone tried to go beret.
Did you see who was wearing the beret? Big time sports guy?
Is this at the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, it was after the Super. It was
After the Super
yesterday.
Bowl? No, I did not see who was wearing a beret, but I'm ready. My Google is ready to go.
The great Jalen Hurts
Really?
went to Disney World or Disneyland World.
I think he was at Disney World.
Yeah, Orlando.
Yeah.
He went there and you know, you do the photo op and everything.
Yeah.
He had a beret on.
Now, this is a beret and not like the Samuel L. Jackson backwards Kangol hat kind of a deal?
What's the difference?
You know, like the kind of like the driving cap that's like it's kind of more of a European style, but the beret is like it hangs off to the side a little more.
No, he is not wearing a beret.
What is that?
That is a Kangol.
Okay. So I guess I don't know the difference between the two.
He is wearing a Samuel L. Jackson backwards Kangol. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he's off the hook.
Yeah, that is not a
Kangol?
Yeah, it's a Kangol. The little kangaroo.
Kangol.
Just look up Samuel L. Jackson. Like, he wears it almost exclusively. Now, I can see where you would think it's beret because it's a little puffy. But the Kangol has a like as Buck said, it has a driving cap kind of point to it, whereas the beret is
slaps to the side.
It's flappy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No, but this
So that's better.
I can see where you think this is a beret.
It has beret-like qualities.
Yes.
Should we bring back the beret, you guys?
Boy, I'll tell you what. I'm not the one that could bring back the beret, but I could see it. Look, Kendrick Lamar just wore bell bottoms, and apparently they're flying off the shelf. So if man bottoms can come back, why not berets? You just need someone of influence. You need a man of increase. You know who could bring back the beret
who
is
would it
Jameis
be?
Winston.
Yeah.
If he wore a beret, it would fit.
I think we need someone
Being
more
a
prominent.
man of increase? Bang, bang.
You know, someone more prominent, like
Block, cocked, ready to rock.
Well, I could see LeBron wearing a beret
I
in a
could
very
too.
unironic sort of way. 100%.
Well, Cam Newton.
Well, Cam's trying to bring back the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Like, his hats are so stupid. Like, but that's like, see, there's a difference between risky fashion and just like Cam Newton Westbrook, you just look like a dumbass fashion. Like, no one would ever try to dress like high fashion and have that be something that becomes popular. But you get people that are influencers. You get some really high profile dude that's an influencer that wears a beret. The beret could 100% come back.
So
100%.
why are they calling LL Cool J's hat that he wore back in the day? Why are they calling that a Kangol? Because that looks more like the bucket hat.
So Kangol is a brand, not a type.
Okay, I got
So
you.
Kangol originally, look at this is 2 days in a row that I'm informing you on the hip hop
Yes.
culture.
Well, and Willy Wonka.
Yes, and Willy Wonka.
Clearly, I know nothing about anything.
Kangol is a brand that makes bucket hats, but they're more known for the whatever
The people call it like a driving style cap or
yes.
driving cap.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's kind of be like when you make a copy, you make a Xerox.
Yes.
It's like when you wear that kind of hat, people are like, oh, you're wearing like I have a Peaky Blinders hat that looks like
It's a little bit, and they come in slightly different shapes and such, but that kind specifically was kind of made famous by the way Samuel L. wore it backwards.
And the Peaky Blinders
It's
hat
just-
is like a
it's
newsboy cap.
Newsboy. It's just
Yeah, it's a little boxier, maybe.
Yeah, it's flappier.
Yeah.
And once in a while I'll wear it, and I'll tell you, while I enjoy it, I don't think I can pull it off. My gal got it for me, and occasionally I'll break it out, and it's just you have to have a certain level of confidence to wear that.
You gotta lean into it.
You gotta lean into
What
it.
is the occasion where you put that on?
If we're going out to a nicer event, like when we're up in Canada for Christmas and it's kind of chilly out and you're wearing like a scarf and then I'll break out. It's a very
Christmassy.
It's a warm wool hat.
Okay.
And I'll break that out and that works, but on a day-to-day basis, I struggle with it. Like I've long said I want to get a Stetson open road, Ben Harper style. I've thought about it for years. And I just know the moment I buy one, I'm going to wear it one time and be like, damn it. And it'll just sit in my closet and I'll never break it out.
Those things aren't cheap.
No, which is why I don't have one.
I wouldn't buy one.
Yeah. They're like $175. Some of the ones are like $300 and $400 if you get the really nice ones. And I can't risk that amount of money on a whim. Even though I've thought about it, I don't know if I have the ability to lean into it. And when you're wearing controversial hats, give credit to Cam Newton. That dude leans into the bit better than anyone.
Yeah. Here's a text on the Vancouver Ford text line. Went to France last year. Not a single French person wore a beret.
Yeah.
Tourists were the only people wearing them.
Yeah, it's
yeah. All right.
Well, I think the French mock the beret at this point.
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah, it's tough.
I think it's one of those things that people do, like their little travel cosplay. Like if somebody goes to a ranch, they have to wear a cowboy hat and boots, and it's like, okay,
Right.
but that's not what you would wear.
Like sombreros probably fall into this category.
Yes.
Rice hats.
Yeah.
You know, come on. Like if you're wearing one of those, chances are, even when you're wearing them in that land, you just look like an asshat.
All right, we got to go. Are the Saints and Kellen Moore a perfect fit for one another? That's next on The Fan.
The definitive podcast for
Well, the layers of Ryan Buckley just, we found another one. They just keep coming. Apparently, during the break, he just offered up that he used to be a hat salesman.
Of course he did.
That's right.
So this is why he knows so much about exotic hats, is he lived across from a hat store, and he went over there. He's like, I could do that. Yeah. And he was their top salesman. He sold newsboy hats and
they had
berets.
a branch up here in Portland too. Gorin Brothers Hats. Yeah, they did fedoras and newsboys and pork pies and.
What's a pork pie?
That is go ahead. Well, it's the one. It's most known from Gene Hackman and the French Connection. It's that hat, but also they said Oppenheimer kind of brought the pork pie back a little bit.
Okay.
If you saw the pork pie, you would know it, like Buster Keaton pork pie sort of thing.
Yeah, it just has it's a type of technically it's like a type of flat brim fedora.
Got a little feather in it.
I just love that Buckley was hawking. Did you wear?
You had to.
Did you wear one of these hats?
I had to wear one every day.
God, can we please get a photo of this?
So I mostly wore the style that you were talking about before, like not necessarily Kangol, but like the newsboy style.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I went with the most frequently. But occasionally I would mix a fedora in on a whim.
I love that.
Yeah. I am jealous of people that can wear these. There's a store right over by the Schnitz and like the Heathman, and it's a haberdashery. I forget.
I love a good haberdashery.
Yeah, it's John, I believe, something or other haberdashery right there in downtown Portland. And everything in that store looks phenomenal. It's like something right out of that you would see in Scotland. And every time I walk by it, I want to wear everything in there, and I realize that if I bought it, I would wear none of it. It is a commitment to a look, but I am jealous of anyone. Like if you go to Europe and you go to Ireland and you go to Scotland, you will see a ton of people that just dress like that all the time, and they look freaking amazing.
But it has to be the way that you look.
Yes.
Like
that
regularly.
Is the John Helmer haberdash.
Yes.
Haberdasher.
Walk by that place and tell me you don't look in the window. And like, I feel bad because I feel like I'm stalking them, like, because I just leer in the window, but I don't want to go in.
Why not?
Because I know I'm not going to buy anything, and then I'm just like wasting people's time because it doesn't. I won't wear it. I won't buy it, but I want to go in there. And like, if I ever won the lottery, I would just commit to dressing like that all the time.
But isn't that, I mean, it's just a clothing store, right?
Yeah, it's just a clothing store.
So why are you so intimidated? Like,
Yeah,
just
because
go in
it's
there and
just-
get a shirt or something.
I can't. I can't bring myself to do it, but it's a kick-ass looking store.
I bet you John Helmer was a stud.
100%.
If still around.
Yes.
Who's the best hat man? Who are the best hat men?
Of all time?
Just like when you think of awesome hats.
Yeah. Well, Indiana Jones probably comes to mind.
That's a good one.
You know, I mean, like, find me someone that's more universally known. Samuel Jackson in the Kangol hat, universally known.
What about, can I throw a little weird one at you?
Yeah.
He's always seems to be wearing something quite exotic. Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a big hat guy.
He's a great hatman.
He's a great hatman. My personal hat hero is Ben Harper, who, by the way, I saw he's coming to Portland and doing the Pioneer Courthouse Square. Ben Harper is one of my all-time favorite artists, and he gives me hope, although he's a cool black man and I'm me. Yeah. But he dresses like he wears the Stetson, but dresses it down like with more casual clothing, and he wears it to perfection.
It also, he does like the rounded top more often, so it looks less cowboyish.
Yes.
That's his signature look.
It's his signature look. And he wears the hell out of it.
Does he ever wear another type of hat?
Yeah, I've seen him perform a bunch. Sometimes he goes beanie. Sometimes he wears a little like a watch cap sort of beanie.
Yeah, you're no Ben Harper.
No, I'm not, which is why I don't own one of those hats, and I want to. I'm jealous.
What about a top hat? Why don't you bring back the top hat?
Yeah, I can't do that.
Somebody
Did you ever
said,
sell top hats?
I didn't sell top hats, but I have worn a top hat to that horse race that I went to in England.
Oh yeah, Tom Landry.
That's right. He was. We've seen that photo. You've seen that photo. Yeah, Tom Landry. He wore the fedora.
Someone else has the Bear Bryant houndstooth fedora,
Oh, 100%.
which is a great one.
Yep. And then every country artist. I mean, that's from everyone. Like that's that whole genre.
Can I say something about Chris Stapleton real quick?
Yeah, because he's got a really elaborate like Southwestern cowboy hat.
He does, and I'm sure it's worth more than I'm even worth.
Mm-hmm.
However, can I say that when Chris Stapleton, I mean, I'm sure he's got a bunch of them, but I always seem to see him in the same kind of one. Like if you Google image him, it's that main one there.
Do you know that? No, he does not have. That is.
He only has one?
He has one of those. I've heard him give interviews about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks like something you would buy
Oh, it's ridiculous.
In a, like, it looks like something you would buy in a Dallas, Texas downtown, like shopping mall gift shop.
It's just, it looks
It's awful.
ridiculous. And yet,
ridiculous. Are we on the same page here, or do you think it looks awesome?
No.
Because I think it looks terrible.
Yes,
it looks cheap.
Yeah, but for him, it works.
He loves it.
But yes, it is
Well,
the
the
most...
only reason it works is because he's Chris Stapleton.
Exactly.
If you're wearing that, we're like, Suk, what are you doing?
You look like the biggest ass clown in the world if you wear that hat.
Does he ever talk about where he got that thing?
Yeah, I've heard the story behind it, and there's one, and there's a name for it and everything, and it's getting so beat up that I think his wife, I want to say his wife bought him another one, and he tried it for a while, and he couldn't bring himself. Like that is his one hat, and I forget the story behind it, but I saw an interview where he was talking about it. So when you see that is not like one of 50. That is his hat, and he wears it all the time. And he says that his wife hates it because she says it smells.
Well, I bet it does. Yeah, they call it the Navajo Western Bead and Feather Raffia hat.
Yeah, it's horrific. You know who could wear a cowboy hat? Again, wear the hell out of it and wasn't a country western guy? Burt Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Burt Reynolds.
Well, he did didn't he wear a cowboy hat?
Smokey and the Bandit, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he
wore one.
Yeah, but he's not a country guy.
By the way, he's still with us?
No, Bert's dead.
He died?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he might be dead too.
I think so, but I want to...
Anybody looking that up?
I'm on my way.
Yeah, he passed in 2018. Very dead.
Whoa, 6 years ago? 5 years? 7 years ago?
7 years ago.
Damn. Did we celebrate the death of Burt Reynolds enough? I don't think we did.
Probably not.
I feel like we didn't.
I love me Burt Reynolds.
You love me, Burt Reynolds.
I do. I love me some Burt Reynolds.
Well, guys,
that was when men were allowed to be men.
He was a man's man.
He was probably a horrible human being.
I don't know. I don't think you could say that without knowing.
I said probably.
Ooh, what about the King, Richard Petty?
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, he wore the same kind as
Stapleton,
as
right?
Stapleton. Yeah. Dude, if you're wearing something that has a Navajo theme and you're not Navajo or you're not like Karen or Chris Stapleton, realize everyone thinks you look like an ass.
I mean, can I just compare Chris Stapleton and his hat to someone, and it's gonna be an offensive comparison?
Yeah, go for it.
He's kind of like Bret Michaels.
Yeah, Brett wears those, and Brett looks awful.
Yeah, they're stupid.
But Chris Stapleton gets away with it because he's Chris Stapleton.
Amazing.
It's like Slash wears a bucket top hat. And that is and it's leather.
He wears you're right, he does.
He wears a leather top hat, and it is so stupid.
Well, with the smoke.
But it works.
It works with the cigarette and the hair.
Yeah. That, and you're one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true. I was trying to think of somebody who wore a top hat still. And you're right, Slash does.
Slash.
I don't think anyone else.
Probably not. Well, are you Slash?
Let's get into the top hat business, Buck. You can sell those. You can sell those to the people.
Oh, I'm sure I could hawk those.
Get those back out there. All right. Well, we have blown an hour and given you nothing.
No.
And I mean nothing.
Really? I think we have.
Or maybe everything.
I think we have given.
It's all in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. There's our boy, Bert. We'll get to some some relevant sports information coming up next.
Oh, all right. You sure about that?
No, but we have a new NFL coach, and the Mavs have fired their fans.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things we want to talk about. Oh, I also have the odds on Aaron Rodgers' next team.
Relax.
Because he's not going back to the Jets.
He's one of those none. Aaron Rodgers is a little bitch.
So that's coming up next hour on The Fan.
Be cautious with Creighton tonight. I'm Sammy Peep, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM network. Creighton is on fire. They've won 9 in a row, covered 10 in a row, yet the market on this game has not moved. UConn catching respected play to hold this line just around 4, and I think the Huskies have the physicality to make this a game. I'm Sammy P. from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today, and please, gamble responsibly.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan on the hardwood tonight, the Toronto Raptors, or on the hardwood today, I should say, the Toronto Raptors and newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 27-28 season. The Lakers, still looking to solve their void in the paint, have signed free agent center Alex Len and waived forward Christian Wood to make room on the roster. In the college game, the Ducks are back at it tonight, hosting Northwestern at Matthew Knight Arena. That'll tip just after 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network and right here on The Fan. We will have pregame coverage from Eugene starting at 7:30. The Ducks are favored by 9.5. In the NFL, as expected, the New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. Reports indicate Moore will be tabbing former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the team's defensive coordinator. And Super Bowl TV ratings are in. The broadcast averaged over 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
If you can find the time to explore the mind of a stripper, then you can find the time to spend with your actual family.
Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
Damn! What they on? All steroids and no carbs? Them some thick-ass kids.
This is Primetime.
We're not like you. We're grown-ups.
Your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports. Here are Isaac Ropp and Jason Sakanik with Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
Oh, my.
That's like horseradish.
We've got a text in about the John Helmer's haberdashery downtown that you were talking about.
Yeah, that I leer into if I'm ever down at the Schnitz.
I've seen it. I've walked by there because, you go to a show or whatever. You're in that hotel. What's that hotel right there?
That's the Heathman.
Yeah, the Heathman. Got a good restaurant and bar.
If you go to their website, they have an entire section on berets.
Do they really?
Yeah.
John Helmer's?
Yeah, when you first pull them up, there's an entire section that just says berets.
Well, this guy says it's John Helmer's, and besides being the hat store in town, they also do great casual dress shirts, suits, blazers, slacks, and sweaters, as well as custom dress shirts. Join the John the Third actually runs the store. He's a super cool guy, badass tennis player. I'm the 4th generation of my family that shops there.
How about that?
So a little shout out to John Helmer's haberdashery downtown. We got our eyes on you.
Which just looks cool, although I'm a little scared to go in there.
All right, well, should we talk sports?
We could.
What is Colorado
Burt
Rockies?
Reynolds was in the he was in the longest yard. That's kind of sportsy.
So Kellen Moore's the new coach of the Saints.
Yeah, the worst kept secret in the NFL.
Yeah, we knew that, but it was official today.
Yeah,
I think that they're perfect for each other because I feel like the Saints' job isn't that good.
I would tend to agree,
and I feel like Kellen Moore isn't that good. How about that?
I think Kellen Moore is riding the wave of the Super Bowl run. And not that he's a bad OC, right? He was in Dallas for a handful of years. That's where he cut his teeth. And then he was in the Chargers for a year and then went to Philly. And it was a bit of a rough go at times this year in Philly, but the run game was great. And he took over a job that, look, no one wanted the job. So it's got to go to someone. And if you're Kellen Moore, it's one of 32 jobs. You take it. You hope for the best, but they don't have a quarterback. They have the worst cap situation in the NFL. I don't think it's
like $54 million over the cap or something.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
That's a lot for those that don't know that.
Well, and it's going to take a couple years to unwind it. You've given up a lot of draft capital. I hope that they have patience, because this is the downside, that when you're the Kellen Moores of the world and you're not really being offered jobs, and so you take one that comes along, that there's a reason why the Joe Brady's of the world and the Aaron Glenn's and the Mike McCarthy's all looked at that and was like, no thanks. Especially when you're a first-year coach, sometimes you only get 1 year. See Gerard Mayo. So Kellen Moore could come in there and be a pretty smart guy, but you don't know what you don't know. He's never been a head coach before. You're going into a bad situation with a lot of turnover. You don't have a quarterback. And, if things go the wrong way, your ass is gone. And I'm not certain if you're going to get another opportunity, but you also are probably going to get life-changing money that's guaranteed. So maybe you just end up taking it and you bet on yourself. But that is not, of the jobs that were available, I'm convinced that was the worst of the jobs.
There's no question. It's one of the worst jobs in the league.
It's not good.
That said, I don't think there's ever going to be an NFL job that somebody doesn't take. I mean,
No. But I think it says something that assistant coaches
Yeah, they didn't want it.
They didn't want it.
Because the other three names that they got down to were with like in-person interviews were nobodies.
No.
Like Kellen Moore is the best name of the four.
Yeah.
One of them was the interim guy.
Yeah.
Whatever his name was.
Rizzler.
One of them was
I ripped his ass, quite frankly.
I can't remember. They're
Darren Rizzi.
Yeah.
That's the Rizzler.
Yeah. And then two other dudes. But anyway, Kellen Moore, I mean, I'm sure he's fine. And by the way, in fairness to him, they hired him before the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't announce it. So it didn't matter what the Eagles did in the playoffs.
He was the guy.
They chose him. He's only 36.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, who also got an NFL coaching job, is 73.
Who brought both of his sons to the coaching staff again.
So Pete 73, Moore 36.
Yeah.
He is half Pete Carroll's age. I looked up celebrity equivalents to this, and I want to share them with you now. Okay. So this would be akin to, like in acting, Mark Harmon and Vanessa Hudgens being hired for the same job.
I could see that. Why not? I mean, Mark Harmon's got some range, man.
Mark Harmon is 73.
Yeah.
Vanessa, 36. Or how about Emma Stone and Jill Biden getting the same gig?
Well, Pete Carroll, it's an interesting hire. I think Pete's being brought in to just try to be the adult in the room and obviously be a bridge guy. I don't understand that.
Stability guy, culture guy.
Yeah, culture guy, but you're only going to be there
Pedigree.
for a couple years. Kellen Moore, I think it's just you're just taking a swing because what the hell else have you got? No one else wanted the job, so you take a coordinator that was well thought of. He's a bright guy, and you hope that you get the next, Sean Payton.
Should they have made a run at Fangio instead?
I think Fangio at 66, and I think his time is done. It's like the Spags.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if he even wanted to be head coach.
I'm not sure that he does either, but
well, by all accounts, Vic Fangio is a how do I put this? He's just a curmudgeon.
Well, yeah.
He's not a.
You can tell.
He's not a personality. People don't gravitate to him. He never smiles. He's just a lot. The story was that, this was his, like, people in the NFL really respect Vic Fangio. He's 66 going on 67. He's never won a Super Bowl. He's responsible for like a shift. He is one of the more copied defensive coordinators we've seen in the NFL in years. And so it was a big deal when he got it. But they said that when they won the Super Bowl and everyone went in there to talk to him, by the time people got into the locker room and got around to trying to talk to him, he had already showered and was leaving. He walked around to his defensive players, fist bumped them, shook their hands, no hugs, and then left the locker room. He didn't even stick around for the celebration. Like, that's Vic Fangio, and I think that's...
I don't know why guys like that keep getting head coaching jobs. Like the Broncos gave him a head coach.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they're very smart.
Yes.
And very good X's and O's guys. Yeah. But they can't relate to a book.
No.
And like they can't relate to my water bottle.
Which is why he only got the one chance and he won't get another one.
But guys like that get hired all the time.
Yeah,
that are like that.
Well, I think the idea is the same thing. Like and I'm not saying Spags is like this, but for the most part, you hire the guys that are the bright coordinators. And so when you've got a guy who's influential, the idea is, let's bring him on board. The problem with hiring a coordinator is, and this is what we're going to find out with Ben Johnson. Like, if you're Vic Fangio and you get to spend 100% of your time just sitting in a room somewhere and dialing up your cover 4, your cover 6 schemes, too high shell safety look, the zones, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to squeeze you, and the Vic Fangio defense, right, which is all the rage in the NFL. It's like what everyone runs now to try to stop Mahomes and the Chiefs. But when you become head coach, you no longer get to spend 100% of your time being the defensive coordinator. So the whole reason why you were hired in the first place, you now have to negate 50% of that, 60% of it. And so if you don't have the ability to delegate, or you don't have the ability to spread yourself around, it doesn't work. And we see this time and time again, whether it's Josh McDaniels or whether it's Cliff Kingsbury. There's a lot of these people that just, that's all they're cut out to be. Spags, I think, is the best big game defensive coordinator we've seen since probably Bill Belichick back in the Giants days. He got one shot at that, and he doesn't get another sniff. It's just it's not happening.
Well,
and Fangio won't either. And Fangio, and he's so old now. It's that's not going to happen.
I don't know how long Kellen Moore will be in New Orleans, but I'm guessing it's not long. And it's maybe not even his fault.
No, that's why I said I hope. And this is why it bums me out when the Gerard Mayos and I think this happened, was it Raheem Morris in Tampa that got 1 year, I think it was, and whatever happens to Kellen Moore, it's just it's crappy the Urban Meyer thing's different because that was just I mean, God, you're kicking.
Steve Wilkes was another one.
Yeah. You can't bring a guy in and be like, okay, we've got a bad roster. We don't have a quarterback. We're in salary cap hell. We don't have a lot of draft capital. And so go in and work magic. Oh, and by the way, you're a first-year head coach, so there's probably going to be some bumps along the way anyways. And then after a year, you sit up there and you're like, well, that didn't work, so we're going to flush you. That's just, it's unfair. And look, there are definitely the Jim Tom Sulas of the world that chances are that wasn't going to work anyways. But then why even, you're just setting him up to fail, and then you're just paying someone a bunch of money to fail. It's a very weird process that the NFL goes through.
You were there. You were a Niner fan. Jim Tom Sula might be the weirdest hire of all time. Why did they hire him?
It was so basically Jim Harbaugh was rubbing the rest of the front office the wrong way so horribly that I think that Jim Tom Sula was an easy landing spot for everyone to get their bearings again, and that he almost had no plan, no direction. They just really liked him as a person. It was really stupid. It didn't make any sense. He had won a game as the interim head coach, and I think they thought that the players liked him. It had no chance of working, but I think they didn't have a plan when the stuff with Harbaugh fell apart so late in the regular season, and that was their odd stopgap pivot.
Yeah, I remember the Texans hired, I think it was David Culley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
1 year.
1 year, and he was a long-time assistant, right? He was not going to get another job. And he had come over, I want to say he came over from Baltimore or Buffalo, where he was an offensive guy there, and a bright guy, career assistant. And they brought him in with the Texans, and it was a dog-esque roster. This was after the Deshaun Watson debacle and all that crap. I think they stuck him with, was it like Tanner McKee or someone like that? It might have been Mills. It might have been Giraffe Neck. And they weren't they weren't any good, but they played their ass off for him.
I think they both had big necks.
They both have big necks.
Davis Mills, a big neck guy too.
Yeah, I think he's got a really long neck.
Yeah, I just think of Sean Glennon or Mike Glennon. Can't remember which one.
And it wasn't a good year. I'm looking it up. They went 4-13, but they played their ass off for him, and they were in a lot of games. And then they went and they flushed him. And I remember sitting there being like, why? If I'm that guy, I'm sitting there, if I'm David Culley, I'm like, this was my one shot, and you gave me no resources, and I wasn't the worst team in the league, and I was competitive in a lot of my games with very little to work with, and now you're sending me out. It's
weird.
And luckily, these guys, they get paid, and maybe that's enough where you just, like you said, you take your $15 million in buyout and you go away. But he's never coached again.
Not even as an assistant?
No. And now he's old, and so he's done. But that was his last. For a guy that it was a career assistant, it just bums me out that he never got a fair shake. But he took his money and he walked off from the sunset, and at least he had the wherewithal to be like, I'm not going back. This was my one shot. Thanks for the money, and I'm out.
It's just weird. Teams don't know what they're doing, shockingly.
No, there is a really good, I'll track it down. It was a podcast. We should bring the lady on. She wrote an article. And I don't remember if it was with The Ringer or The Athletic. I'll go back, and it was one of the podcasts I listened to. And she wrote a piece on the NFL hiring process and basically nepotism in the Good Old Boys network. And oh my God, it is alarming at how disorganized and piss poor the hiring process is. It really comes down to, do you have a big last name? What coaching tree you come from, and more importantly, what agency you're repped by. Because there's a handful of power broker agents, and there is a lot of, you will hire my guy, and once my guy gets hired, he will hire assistants that are of that same circle. It is not the best candidate. For a $1 billion industry where that is such an important thing, it's shocking at how crappy that process really is.
All right, where will Aaron Rodgers play next? Next on The Fan.
Relax.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
Side note on Kellen Moore, wrapping that up.
Yeah.
He is supposed to hire Brandon Staley as his defensive coordinator, which, I
They
guess.
were in the Chargers, right? He was there with Staley and
Well, Staley was the head coach.
Yeah, he was the head coach. They just flippy-flopped.
So I guess a good hire. I don't know. I mean, Staley seemed like a pretty good defensive guy.
Well, and the
disaster
Saints,
of a head coach.
The Saints' defense was their only redeemable quality there, and that was Dennis Allen and when they left. So, I guess he was viewed as a good defensive guy.
Also, Dan Orlovsky is expected to join his staff. Did you know that?
Is that what's happening?
It sounded like Orlovsky was leaving ESPN.
Yes.
He kind of had a last
he was
hurrah
kind of
thing.
He did a I'm going to take some time, and there was a
He said he was taking a break.
Yeah, so instead of everyone thought he was just leaving to go to a new job, like a new network job.
He is.
But he's
It sounds like he's going to the Saints because he and Kellen Moore were teammates. We're old teammates.
Well, and Orlovsky, I know everyone gives him crap for, he wasn't a good quarterback, but he's a bright guy. I think he does a really nice job, being an analyst. And look, that's always the silly argument. Some of the best players make the worst coaches, and some of the worst players make the best coaches. I mean, look, Kellen Moore wasn't a good quarterback, but he's a very bright offensive mind. John Gruden was a quarterback at Dayton. That guy forgot more about offensive football than I will ever know. Chip Kelly wasn't a good football player, but he's a bright mind. So I don't like when people take shots at the Orlovskys of the world. And that's like a Cam Newton, Michael Irvin sort of thing. Cool, dude, you're in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't mean that you understand how to run an offense.
The other thing I saw about Kellen Moore was that he played his current quarterback head-to-head in college and whooped his ass 57-7. Boise State beat Fresno State when Derek Carr was quarterbacking there.
Well, look,
Already a rift.
All I know is Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, and Ben DiNucci.
Best quarterback room in the league.
That's
They have the Nooch?
They got the Nooch. That's what they're working with.
Things are looking up. Yeah, Deal says Jim Zorn, stranger hire. We were talking about Tom Sula.
I remember Jim Zorn.
That was a weird hire at the time, though.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, a little odd.
He raises a good question. Like, what is the strangest hire? Like, David Coley was out of nowhere. Like
Coley
you
was
said.
weird.
Tom Sula is way up there.
I still think Tom Sula.
That's number one.
Tom Sula had never been anything other than like a D-line coach, and not even a super well-respected.
No one had ever even heard of him.
The only reason I heard of him is because he was our D-line coach when I was in NFL Europe.
You know what? Another one?
That's the strangest hire of all time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Another one that is weird or was weird at the time was Mark Trestman.
Oh yeah.
Remember when the Bears hired him?
Yeah. I feel like the Bears, organizations like that just hire very strange people.
I also think it's weird when they just take somebody who hasn't been doing one of those jobs, like when, I know it wasn't a head coach job, but like when the Niners hired John Lynch right out of Fox's TV booth to be their GM.
Yeah, but he's done a good job.
He's done a great job, but it's odd when it happens. They're like, you weren't even working in an organization.
I got one.
Yeah.
I got
one. What are we missing?
Jeff Saturday.
Oh yeah.
It was his drinking
good
buddy.
one.
Was that a permanent?
No, well, I mean
interim,
but he hired Jeff Saturday was just his drinking buddy,
yeah.
and he was like, yeah, he's going to be our head coach,
and he pulled him right off ESPN to do it. Like Saturday went from analyzing on Sundays to on the sideline coaching on Sundays.
No coaching experience whatsoever. They were just like here.
Adam Gase.
Yeah, at least they're in the.
Yeah, he's a coordinator.
But I mean to go down the road of Jeff Saturday because he's your pal. That's one of those you're like, what in the hell is that? Again, bad organizations being bad organizations.
Well, we're now out of time, so we'll get to the Aaron Rodgers odds later. Where would you like to see Aaron Rodgers play next year if he plays? Because it sounds like he's not going back to the Jets.
No,
Jets don't want him.
No, they made some conditions, and then it's just like, hey, it's time to move on.
Yeah, they said, don't go on the Pat McAfee show. You're not coming back here.
Well, anytime that you're getting a wash Aaron Rodgers, but you're bringing all that into your locker room, no thanks. I'm good.
So we'll get to that later. Up next, it is time for In the News. I have the official In the News Storm Doppler 6000 weather alert.
What are we at DEFCON 2 yet?
For you. Well, I think we're getting close.
How many minutes to midnight?
We're getting close. Also, guess the town, Swastika Spike Strips.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. And the town is in...
Idaho.
No, wait. Does that work?
Oh, I just figured Idaho.
It's in Oregon.
Oh, all right. Well,
maybe Washington.
Eastern Oregon.
We think. In the News is next, but first, Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan. In the association, the Raptors and newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the final year. The Lakers, still looking to solve their void in the paint, have signed free agent center Alex Len and wave forward Christian Wood to make room on their roster. In the college game, the Ducks are back at it tonight, hosting Northwestern at Matthew Knight Arena. That'll tip just after 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network and on the Fan. Pre-game coverage here on the Fan starts from Eugene at 7:30. The Ducks are 9.5-point favorites. In the NFL, as expected, New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. Reports indicate Moore will be tabbing former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the team's defensive coordinator. And Super Bowl TV ratings are in. The broadcast averaged over 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is our nationwide contest for a chance to have the ultimate tournament viewing experience with 3 of your friends. More info at 1080thefan.com.
Hi, have you been injured in an accident? Well, if you have, you should call our friends at the attorney's office.
Yes. If you need a hat, you call John Helmer. If you need an attorney, then you call the advocates.
Yes.
What if you've been injured in a haberdashery accident?
Right.
What if someone is wearing this court jester hat for $45 that I see on their website? They're spinning around having a grand old time, probably riding some sort of unicycle, teaching kids how to read. One of those bells flies off the end, gets you in the eye, and now you've got a pirate eye. What are you going to do?
Can I also call somebody else out?
Yeah.
I'd like to call Ryan Buckley to the stand, who used to sell $7 feathers for hats.
That is highway robbery.
In his hat
That's
store.
criminal.
I didn't set the prices there. I only bought the
criminal.
That
feathers.
is so criminal.
Yeah. You know who wants a piece of you? Big hat money? Yeah, Donikin.
Tell you what.
They're not standing for that crap.
Here's my plan. If you were still selling hats, I'd buy one of those stupid $7 feathers you plucked off a pigeon out back. I'd shove it right in my eye, and then I'd call Donikin.
Yeah.
And they would take you for
That's
all
right.
your work.
Due to
You can
improper
shove that
feather
up your
placement.
little pumpkin ass.
Or if you've actually had a real injury, they can help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's kind of scary,
We're just
too.
joking.
Yeah, you get hurt, you don't know what to do. But look, a feather in the eye is nothing to laugh about. Those
And then I
quills
would
are
need an
sharp.
advocate.
Yeah, it's no good. You do need an advocate. So for all your hat-related injuries and everything else,
That's right.
Donikin's got you covered.
Yeah, if you've been injured, guys, you need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Call our friends, Ken and Donnie at The Advocates. Their website is advocateslaw.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly
Nobody knows the difference. Do people know the difference between a pigeon feather and a Argentinian? Where'd you say they're from? Austria?
These are Austrian feathers.
You can also make fake feathers too.
Totally. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, but then you'll know it's fake. You don't want that. You want an authentic feather.
It is National Latte Day.
Yeah, I don't drink lattes, but you know.
I like
people,
a latte.
People like lattes.
What makes the latte?
I knew you were going to ask that.
That's
I
it?
don't know.
Just
It's
coffee
just
and
coffee
milk?
with milk?
Yeah, well, I think it's usually foamed milk, but yeah.
It's also National Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk Day.
Over spilled lattes?
Happy birthday to Jennifer Aniston today, by the way. I saw it was her 56th.
She looks amazing.
The YouTube chat pointed out after we discussed him, it would have been Burt Reynolds' 89th birthday today.
Really?
Yeah.
You know who else has a birthday today? Do you guys know who Tina Louise is?
That sounds familiar.
Do you remember her?
Tina Louise.
I used to have such a crush on her.
That sounds very familiar.
She was Ginger from Gilligan's Island.
Oh, you know what? And no one ever picks Ginger. Everyone always goes with Marianne because she's all
I
wholesome.
loved Ginger.
Dude, give me Ginger all day. You know she's experienced.
Classy. Yeah. She's 91. She is still alive.
Yeah, I see her right here. And you know what? There's gonna be for 91, she looks good.
Cheryl Crow's birthday and Sarah Palin's birthday.
God, look at all the hots who have birthdays on
What's
February
Sarah
11th.
Palin up to now?
In the News brought to you by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. The official In the News Storm Doppler 6000 weather alert.
Time to panic,
says, yes, panic. It sounds like that Thursday, an area of low pressure will approach the southern Oregon coast and will move inland, bringing precipitation into the valley early morning and move north through the day.
No.
Precipitation will start as snow or freezing rain locally late morning or early afternoon.
No.
Computer models suggest snow amounts between an inch to 2 inches with a transition to freezing rain by the evening.
Time to panic.
This is
Time
on
to
Thursday.
panic.
Well, the ice, that's no joke.
No,
man. I
and
mean,
by the way, it was cold as
dude, it
buns
is
today. Holy
Why is it so
cow.
cold? What's going on?
You know, thanks a lot, Obama. It's cold. That's all I know. So Thursday we get the freezing rain?
This is Thursday.
Buck, you might want to start preparing the best of. I'm not dealing with the freezing rain. I'll tell you that right now. You're gone, so
I am. I'm in Kansas dealing with more snow and freezing rain.
more important weather to deal with.
I don't even know if I'm going to get there. It's so bad out there.
Hey, you can come in and hang out with us.
I will. Yeah, if I'm here, I will.
I got the Oregon Life says, is snow finally on the way? I see the red. I see the red, though.
People want the snow.
Yeah, I know.
They're pissed. And we got light dusting that one day.
Yeah, why do we need...
I don't know,
Who
but
are these people?
What's my wife? She can't wait.
Better be stocking up.
She gets really mad when they say it could be there and it's not there.
I promise that if it's on the way Thursday, then come tomorrow, the BTJ is going to go stock up on essentials to make sure we're fine.
Guess the town swastika spike strips. And it is in Washington. Was
okay. I'm going to go with...
I was saying Oregon, but it's not. It's
I'm
in
going
Washington.
Colfax, Washington.
Colfax?
Yeah.
No, up by your old stomping grounds.
Oh.
Shockingly.
That makes sense. Yakult.
Yakult.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it Yakult?
Yeah, Yakult, Yakult.
I always say Yakult.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, look.
Homemade road spikes.
Does it say something that it took me 2 cities to get that?
No, it's pretty good. Both were good.
Yeah.
Well, obviously one was a great guess, and the other one was solid.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of options up there. I mean,
look.
Don't sell yourself short there in La Center.
No, but I'm telling you, whatever you think of La Center, dude, just go 20 minutes and you're in Yakult or Yakult and...
A Yakultidian?
It's way... La Center is San Francisco compared to what they're bringing out there.
Was that Dusty trying to...
That was Dusty from many years ago, speculating on what people from Yakult are called.
A Yakultidian?
A Yakultidian.
We used to play soccer games out there when my kids were little, and there's like one bar and grill out there, and you went in and it's something else. They made a good milkshake though, probably a racist milkshake, but it's pretty good.
Was it vanilla?
Oh yeah.
It says on internet, you know what AI tells me? People from Yakult, Washington are called Yakult residents.
Oh,
really? That's lame.
I don't think that's right though, because it does. Yeah, because that's AI.
So this is just AI being wrong then again.
Again.
What are they even doing?
Well,
sounds like being racist by laying down. By the way, So someone is laying down spike strips to wreck cars in the shape of swastikas.
Well, they're not in the shape of swastikas, but they have swastikas on them. So there have been 3 reports in the past week of what appear to be homemade spike boards found on roads in Yakult. The boards were found in different neighborhoods around the town. The makeshift devices, framing nails driven through small pieces of wood, were discovered Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So far, no injuries or vehicle damage, but officials say they're worried about the potential danger as they have swastikas. The boards are marked with a swastika.
Can we?
Also on the board,
Yeah.
I left out one key fact: the name Kent, which many believe is Joe Kent, your fearless leader up there.
Who was attempting to be our fearless leader. By the way, can I just point out to everyone out there in Yakult, there's no blacks or Jews out there. So I don't know who these spike boards are for. Not sure if you're familiar with the demographic out there, but I think it's a lot of whites. Or should I say, whites. So I'm not sure who these boards are intended for. But it is not shocking. Maybe that's where Kanye West is moving. Did you see his little move that he had? Did you see his...
Couldn't care any less about him.
Well, he had a... after his weird Twitter run, he bought a Super Bowl commercial where the Super Bowl commercial was just telling people to go to his website. And on the website, he had one product for sale, swastika t-shirt. And they sold out of them.
The mayor of the town says the Nazi logo is not acceptable.
Oh.
That's not something that you can put on there. And somebody's putting Kent on it.
By the way,
do you see what he did there? You see what he did there?
He separated those two things.
He separated the swastika from Joe Kent.
Yeah. By the way, was he winking the entire time he was saying it? Was it one of those, hey, this is not acceptable, wink, wink, nod, nod?
He probably did it.
One of them sundown towns. Good grief.
Well,
is this where we're at now?
It is.
Nazis are making a comeback? You would think that we put that to bed, I don't know, in the 40s, but...
Do you really care what goes on in Yakult, though?
No, not really.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
you're never going to go there.
No. Oh, if you're up going to the lake,
It's
though.
like the hills have eyes. No offense but to Yakultians.
Well,
but-
maybe you're up there again, Lake Merwin, and you're up there trying to boat for the weekend. And I have played soccer. Well, my kids have played soccer there. I would not want to run over a swastika board, although to be fair, I wouldn't want to run over any board. But it would be extra troubling if it did have swastikas on it.
How many home burglaries is enough?
My guess is one.
Didn't we do this with how many times having a
did.
car crash into your building is enough?
We did, and wasn't that number shockingly high?
Shockingly
it was like
high.
39 or something.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of people took a turn too fast when they're drunk or something.
Well, I guess it'd be two ways to ask this. How many home burglaries is enough for you to get what you need and not commit another one?
Yeah.
Or how many home burglaries is enough before authorities catch on to who it may be and actually catch them?
It's a good question. I think those are two different answers.
Okay.
But, let's say like a baker's dozen.
Okay.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, because it's like, if you're stealing from me, you're going to have to steal a lot of homes like
Exactly.
mine. I don't have any. Like, what are you stealing from me?
Well, in this instance, they're targeting the Asians.
Really? We're back to targeting Asians again?
Yeah. Down in Tigard and some of the areas down there.
Technically, you could target my house. We're 2/3 Asian in my house.
But take your number and multiply it by 3.
Really? That's what
It's a lot.
That's a lot of break-ins.
We'll have that story next on The Fan.
This is the Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
DA goes down, Scoop goes down, and now it makes it tough. No, nothing new. I mean, DA left calf, I know, and then Scoop tweaked the same ankle.
Yeah, that's Chance after getting his ass kicked by the Nuggets.
Mm.
Yeah, the Scoot one didn't look bad at all. The Ayton one, I have yet to see what they're saying about it. That looked bad. That was no contact and then had to be
Put
carried
any
off
weight
the
on
court.
it? Yeah.
That was not good.
Be out a while.
Yeah.
The Fans Window into Sports brought to you by Window Nation. 60% off all window styles. 2 years interest-free financing right now. Schedule your estimate by calling 866-90Nation or visiting windownation.com.
A long season gets longer. Scoop sets fire.
this, and he looks like a member of ZZ Top.
Yes.
And he plays guitar on the streets.
So if you see him out there, go fist bump
That's
him
right.
and throw him a couple bucks because that was a cool thing.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know, we were guessing maybe $300 in there or something.
Yeah, he did not have to give that money over to us and to Mike to give to Mike, and that's really cool that he did that.
Yeah. So Lynch is grateful. All right, this is in the news, February 11, 2025. You said a baker's dozen on a number of burglaries before you've got enough to not burglarize again?
Yeah, you're like, all right, we're good here.
Or how many burglaries does it take for them to actually catch on to who's doing it?
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, the Bakers, I'm going
You're still-
13.
okay.
I'm taking 13.
39.
That's a lot.
Home burglaries.
That's a lot of burglaries.
In Oregon. Investigators believe the same group of suspects are connected to all of them. Tigard Police announcing the update in the multi-jurisdictional home burglary investigation on Monday, about a week after 4 people in the case were arrested.
Seems a little, like, everybody nowadays, like, there's a camera everywhere. Like, how did it take
39.
you 39 burglaries to catch these
Well,
people?
that's what I thought. I mean, look, no offense to the victims, because that sucks.
Yeah.
But this is not a story if it's not 39 of them.
It's a lot. It's a lot of burglaries.
They targeted Asians
Hmm.
in Tigard and various other districts.
Seems pretty racist.
Yeah.
I
I guess they think that they
stealing from-
stockpile jewels. Does your
the Asians keep all their earnings in a coffee can?
Yeah, all 39 homes were owned by Asian Americans. Bend as well.
Oh.
I guess.
Well, so they robbed the one Asian family in Bend?
Apparently.
That's what happened?
Yeah, very targeted.
Jeez.
Very specific. 4 people arrested. They are oh my God. They are all Hispanic. The 4 suspects were living at various locations throughout Portland.
So I need to tell the BTJ that the Hispanics are coming after her? We got a race war on our hands?
I think we do.
All right.
I think that's what this means.
South of the border versus the Far East. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Is it the cartels versus the Yakuza? Who wins that battle?
I tell you, you break into my house.
Yeah, you got nothing.
You are getting... What a waste of time.
I can't begin to tell you
What
how
the hell are you gonna
disappointed
steal?
you are going to be when you break
You're going
into
to steal my
house.
bobbleheads?
Yeah, I don't...
You can have them. I'll leave them outside.
I'm trying to think of what would be the most valuable thing to steal from my house, and it is just it's just shockingly disappointing. There's just nothing. There's nothing going on in there. Gonna steal like my old metal Marlin that's like above my front door. I bet you that'll get you $6 at a flea market. I mean, I've got a clock that doesn't work. What's that do for you?
It's right twice a day, right?
Yeah, it just sits up there. It's a cool looking clock. Doesn't work.
Is that the most overplayed joke of all time?
it's right twice a day.
Even a broken clock's right twice a day?
Yeah.
Is it even a joke, or is it just a saying? I mean, I made it a joke, but...
I think it's kind of I think it's a joke.
Yeah, I think it's
trying
more,
to be funny.
I don't know if it's a joke. I think it's more of a shot at people.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
when someone gets something right and you don't expect them to.
It's like the whole
Yeah.
blind squirrel finding a nut
Yeah.
sort of thing.
I'd like to now know what the most overused joke of all time is. I want to know that.
Let me work with Google.
Finally, guys, hey, go adopt a doggy
No,
or a cat.
I already got one.
I'm talking to listeners, idiot.
Sorry.
They are saying more stray and surrendered dogs have entered Multnomah County Animal Shelter in the last couple of months. For some reason, there is a surge, and it's the sharpest uptick in 13 years.
And
They have overcrowding shelters now. So officials want you and the community to seek adoption of dogs and cats and don't eat them.
Yeah, I would hope not.
They're eating the dogs.
Not in Ohio. What do
They're
we know what
eating
the
the pets.
The uptick is for this?
The uptick?
Uptick? Why are we...
I don't know. They said in January the shelter took in 268 dogs who were either surrendered or found as strays, while at the same time
They're eating the dogs.
234 dogs were adopted, returned to owners, or transferred to other rescue sites. The shelter has had about 40 dogs ready to be adopted and dozens of lost pets waiting for owners to reclaim them. They have limited kennels, you know.
Yeah, it's no good.
It's not good at all.
I've said before.
So get down there.
It's one of the things that I'm most ashamed of is I bought my dogs instead of rescuing them. And that's, you know.
Yeah, you need to start rescuing, dude.
Jams me up.
A lot of doggies need homes.
Well, I've only got one, and I'm not getting another one, so I'm out of the market. But I will admit, I do feel some shame towards that.
They said just 3 days between Friday and Sunday, officials said 24 dogs were brought in, including 6 surrender dogs.
Dude, that's crazy.
16 cats and kittens.
By the way, I looked up the most overused jokes of all time.
Yeah, what do you got?
And number 1, and I can see this, to the tall people, how's the weather?
Oh, okay.
Somebody on the text line said, working hard or hardly working. That's got to be way up there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So they put together this, it's a joke site, and they had the 60 most overused jokes, and the weather up there is number 1. So, yeah.
I'm going to start saying that to you.
Yeah. The other one is, I'm not racist. I hate everyone equally. That's up there. Dropping the soap in the shower.
Yeah.
Some form of...
prison.
Some form of whatever waitress. Is there anything else I can do for you? Every middle-aged man, a smile. You know. It's crap like that.
Or the, like... Have you ever heard the one like, they say, what can I do you for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A little cheeky.
Can I ask you a question you just did? They're all that, you know.
That's
all that, you know.
All right. Well, thank you for looking that up.
Pull my fingers in there.
Oh, yes. How did we not have that?
Yeah.
Or that's what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Great. Can I still be whatever your name is? A lot of those, you know.
What?
Like if someone says...
My dad did this to us all the time growing up. He'd be like, I'm thirsty. And he'd be like, I'm your dad. What else is new?
Oh.
Oh, God.
Right?
That's in the news, Feb 11, 2025, brought to you by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. We have the Hot 5 at 5 coming up next. I have baseball news because, you know, we're a baseball show.
When's that? That's happening like now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, we're a baseball show. We're supposed to know this.
Do you know when it's happening?
Today.
I don't think you know.
I think today.
I think it's already happened.
Some of them today?
In some places.
Yeah, it's not all one day for everybody, so...
They're filtering in. How about that?
Yeah, trickling in. How about that?
We also have some college football in the Hot 5 and a new NFL coach. All next on The Fan.
At Fisher Investments,
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan. In the association, the Toronto Raptors and Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension following the trade deadline acquisition. That includes a player option for the 27-28 season. The Lakers, still looking to solve their problems in the middle, have signed free agent center Alex Len and waived forward Christian Wood in the process. On the college hardwood, the Ducks are back at it tonight, hosting Northwestern at Now Unite Arena. That'll tip just after 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network and the Fan. Pre-game coverage from Eugene starts at 7:30. The Ducks are 9.5-point favorites. In the NFL, as expected, the New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. Reports indicate Moore will be tabbing former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the team's defensive coordinator. And Super Bowl TV rating numbers are in. The broadcast averaged 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker over the holidays? Just ask it to play 1080 The Fan.
Good afternoon. At the tone, Pacific Daylight Time will be...
It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
One step closer to my own personal hell.
This is Primetime on Sports Radio 1080 The Fan.
We expect the best. We're not afraid to break someone. Do you hear me?
Primetime is your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Go ahead and clap. Mediocrity deserves applause.
Isaac Robb.
I'm miserable. I had to get up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Jason Sakanet.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Tuesday. It's your Sports Bros here. Rob, that's me. Big Sook's right over there.
Right here. How about this Super Bowl, by the way, being an absolute ass-kicking, and it's the highest, that's the most watched TV program of all time.
Yeah. We'll get to that in our next seggy.
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk about it with you. I watched it.
I did too. I just would have thought with the blowout nature of it and maybe
everybody watches the Super Bowl.
And maybe the halftime not being for everyone, I just didn't think that was going to break a record. But indeed, here we are again.
Do women talk more than men? We will have that in the club. And the stunning Ozempic side effect that's hitting Americans.
Oh, besides Ozempic face? Yeah. Ozempic. You know. I can't believe, I know that some people love that, but, I know people that are on that and they say they're nauseous, 24/7. That just seems
well, have you heard of the latest side effect?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, well, they may want to listen.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding.
It just blows my mind.
It's bad.
We had a friend that was doing this, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not losing a bunch of weight on it, but I'm nauseous all the time." And I'm like, "Well, that sounds like
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah. How are you losing weight? I can't eat. Why? I'm nauseous.
Curbs your cravings. You never feel hungry.
Yeah, I mean,
eliminates food noise. They say.
I guess if you're just sick all the time, yeah, sounds awesome.
Well, as I like to say, we're all just about one stomach bug away from our ideal weight.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
can't always.
Every one of us has had the flu before, and then when you go back to work, you look in the mirror, you're like,
oh hell yeah.
Look at this.
And then you stay on that train for a while, okay, all right, I'm going to lean into this.
I'm going to use it to jumpstart something here? Yeah.
A month later, you're all fat, sick. Again.
Go to one buffet and you're like, and that's gone. Turns out that's not real weight loss.
So that's our club, 6 to 7. Up next, we will talk about the Super Bowl ratings, Aaron Rodgers' next team odds, and the Mavs tossing a fan for a sign.
Tossed a couple fans.
Fans, yeah.
Jimmy Dolan apparently in charge of PR down there with the Dallas Mavericks.
It's getting bad in Dallas. Yeah. Right now, the hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food. Discover Victorico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or get it delivered straight to your door at victoricos.com.
He's going to go get him one of those Milwaukee Butter Hogs.
Number 5.
Well, the Ducks play Northwestern tonight on The Fan after us.
Got a 5-game loser going on right now?
Yeah, they're not very good.
No.
this year. But
Lunardi's bracketology came out today, though. They're still supposed to be an 8 seed as it stands.
Okay.
For the beginning of the year, they were rolling. Remember, they beat Alabama, which I think is Bama 1 or 2 now.
Bama's in the top 3. Well, it might be 1 because Auburn lost and
They're
Duke
one or-
lost.
Auburn, Bama are 1 and 2.
They're
It sounds
1
like a
and 2.
football thing, but they're 1 and 2 and they're playing this weekend.
But they beat Bama, and they were rolling for a while. And
Well,
then,
they had a really good tournament wherever that tournament was. They played great.
And the wheels.
That was that like NIL tournament where there was all that money on the table.
Yeah,
you
where
know?
was that?
Is that
Vegas?
I think it was Vegas.
And now, ever since they've been.
Well, it turns out the Big Ten schedule.
It's tough.
It's kind of hard.
But it's also really boring. Much like football, like Northwestern. Who cares?
Well, the game's at 8:00 tonight at Matthew Knight.
How many people will be there?
7. 8:00 on a Tuesday. Come on.
Dan Lanning going
against Northwestern? No, Dan Lanning's not showing up.
Although I do think that this weekend they are honoring the Ducks Big Ten football
Number
championship
4.
at halftime of the past.
You know when they're not doing it? Tuesday night against Northwestern.
You know who they're playing this weekend? Rutgers.
Nice.
Dude. Well, anyway, make sure you tune in Oregon Northwestern tonight on the Fan.
Yeah, if you're not going to the game, you got it right here on the Fan.
For some reason, the Raptors actually want Brandon Ingram.
I am not obviously the Danny Meringue of this station. Someone needs to explain to me what.
You know
the
who
Toronto
is the Danny Meringue of this station?
Dusty Hara.
Danny Meringue.
Can he explain what exactly the Raptors are doing?
Well, they just traded for him. Now he signs a 3-year, $120 million extension in Toronto.
So you just signed a worse version of your best player in the middle of a rebuild and gave up a first for it?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram is like the quintessential NBA
hollow
guy who's like really freaking like he's awesome, but
Gives
he's
you nothing.
not awesome. Like there's nothing. He's just hollow.
Yes.
He can
He can
score.
get you buckets, but he never helps you win.
Yeah, he's just kind of
Number 3.
Enjoy it, Toronto. And he's worth $120 million.
Ohio State needs a defensive coordinator. They are talking to a very unlikely name.
They need a lot of coaches. That coaching staff got gutted.
Former Lions head coach and Patriots assistant Matt Patricia.
Yeah. Believe me, Ohio State fan is all kinds of pissy
Oh
about
boy.
that one.
He hasn't worked at the college level since being a grad assistant at Syracuse in 2003. He was on the Eagles staff, but that was 2023 when the Eagles melted down and he was not brought back.
Yeah, and he was a terrible. Yeah,
He sucks. Everywhere he goes, he sucks.
He was good in New England.
Yeah, because of Bill Belichick. Like, what?
I don't know, he brings a pencil to the table.
What is happening? And
Former rocket scientist.
doesn't he have an old sexual assault thing
Really?
hanging over him?
Does he?
I think he does. Remember, it came up when he was the Lions head coach. Because they're like, why are you hiring this guy?
I do not remember that, but I suppose.
I'll be damned.
Look at Matt Patricia rumors. I don't know. Maybe accusations.
Why'd you think it was a rumor?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Closer Kenley Jansen is headed to the Angels. 1 year, $10 million.
Yeah, that's the final piece in with the Angels.
1996, 1 count of aggravated sexual assault.
Was he convicted?
Indicted?
He was indicted. I just like that. Look at everything the Dodgers did, and then the Angels matched it with bring us Kenley Jansen.
Well, Jansen, he's 4th all-time in saves.
Yeah.
He only needs 31 to pass the great Lee Smith. He is 37 at this point.
Don't if you're the Angels, don't you have to actually be ahead in the 9th inning?
That might be the problem.
Saves? Is Mike Trout ever going to play again?
I don't know. But we're the baseball show. You should stick around. We'll tell you.
Well, then Mike Trout, like last year, he was coming back, and then he got hurt again. And
he's always hurt now.
Yeah, I feel like we're in the Ken Griffey Jr. portion of his career.
Also, 37, Clayton Kershaw is returning to the Dodgers for a 18th season.
Yeah.
And Ty France, former Mariner great, he has signed with the Minnesota Twins.
Oh. Ty France, one-time All-Star. Ty France.
Let's do it.
Boy, I'm looking at Mike Trout. He has played since 2020, 53, 36, 119, 82, and 29.
Oh, my God. So this year he's on pace for 7? God.
It's not trending in the right direction.
The Saints filled the final NFL coaching vacancy. They hire Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. He inherits a team that is $54 million over the cap. Word is he may be eyeing Brandon Staley as defensive coordinator and a spot on his staff for former teammate and ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, well, hopefully they give him a little time and have some patience. First-year head coach, worst cap situation in the NFL. a quarterback room that offers nothing. It's gonna be a bit of a bumpy ride, I think, for Kellen Moore. And I think it says something that the Cliff Kingsburys of the world, the Joe Brady's of the world, and Mike McCarthy's of the world all looked at that job and went, meh.
I wouldn't want that job. Well, I mean, I would. But.
I mean, it's probably paying him, what, $6-7 million a year guaranteed for however many years, and that's why you take it. But make no mistake about it, of the open jobs, this was the worst job.
Victorico's Mexican food, a hit with the whole family. Order in-store, online, or delivered to your door at victoricos.com. When you think of flavor, think of Victorico's. The numbers are in. That's next on The Fan.
It's the Vancouver Ford text line.
Plenty of time.
Fan.
All right. The Super Bowl ratings are in.
Turns out people like the Super Bowl.
God, it's just crazy, these numbers. Second straight year, the Super Bowl has reached a record audience. They averaged 127.7 million viewers.
Gosh, what did it peak at during the halftime show?
130. Well, actually, the game peaked at 137. Actually, 137.7.
Yeah.
That was in the second quarter.
Okay.
And they said it was at 133 for what's his nuts?
Kendrick Lamar.
Good old what's his nuts.
So I just love everyone that's saying that's the worst thing ever, and apparently 130 plus million would disagree. I also love too that somewhere Drake was sitting there knowing that 133 million people are watching him get crapped on the largest audience in TV history.
To be fair, probably only like 60 million understood that he was getting crapped
That's
on.
true.
Though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very. I mean, that's generous.
And that might be generous.
You
20
see
million?
where- See where
30?
Stephen A. Smith said he would divorce Serena Williams.
Why?
Because Serena Williams was Drake's ex, and she went out and danced with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, he's saying that Alex Ohanian, the Reddit guy who's Serena's hubby, should be
divorce.
pissed.
Yeah, Stephen A. said if that was his wife, he would divorce her on
Like,
the
you
spot.
shouldn't go out there and dance for your ex to help him in his rap.
Why do we care what Stephen A. Smith says?
Because he might be our next president.
Yeah, they're saying that he's
So he's a conservative pundit now?
well, he's a Democratic centrist, I think, is kind of what they're saying. So
Yeah.
he could be the left's Trump.
Oh,
Which
he's our Trump?
He's our
Yeah,
Trump.
I think that's right.
Yeah. They say he's a hot political candidate on the left.
Wait, and they're serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he goes on Fox News a lot, and like,
Oh dear.
yeah, and like and his whole podcast now is not really a sports podcast. He's trying to grow beyond whatever the hell
Yeah.
he's doing on ESPN.
All right. Well, good for him. I'll continue to not listen to him.
It's
Gonna
probably
be your
for the
president.
best.
Does anything ever rival that number? Like you get
No.
120 million. Like
not even close.
Is there anything that could come close to like half of the country?
I have said many times that Jesus could come down and give an interview, and I don't think he gets 130 million people.
no,
it's not even close.
it wouldn't because there's a lot of
Yeah.
me's out there.
A lot of
that wouldn't care.
non-believers, and people be like, "Oh, it's not true," and they'd be like, "Oh, I'll catch the highlights of it." And
But can you think of anything that would rival that could? I mean,
the only
I
thing
can't
I
even
think
of.
if like I mean, and this is going to be just awful, honestly, and I'm dead serious. I think the only thing that could draw 138 million people is like if
A catastrophe.
a catastrophe.
Well,
Like,
what did like? I mean, this sounds morbid, but the 9/11 coverage that day
across all platforms?
What was it? Do you know?
I'll bet
Because
you.
everyone was watching.
I'm guessing
The
it's
thing is, it
probably
wasn't
close to-
one moment
No.
of coverage because it was just ongoing after the thing
Well,
happened.
that's true.
I do think something like, like the moon landing. Or let's say we were going to go to freaking Mars. I don't think anyone would watch more than the Super Bowl, but like an event that's timed around one specific time is kind of what you need.
See, that's the but I'll bet you during 9/11 or at the moments after that, I'm guessing more than 138 million people tuned
Turned on their
in
TVs.
because it was ESPN was running it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I first saw it, was on ESPN. But as a one standalone program, there is nothing that could compare to that. And the only thing that could get a total audience like that would be if if there was a terrorist attack and someone nuked a city or something like that.
According to Internet, almost 80 million viewers viewed either primetime broadcast or cable TV news on the day of the attack. That's shockingly low.
How many?
80 million?
Boy, that really.
Is it because a lot of people were already at work when it happened?
Yeah, maybe.
Boy, that is.
But that seems really low. I feel
Yeah.
like everyone was watching, would just stopped what they were doing and watching TV.
Yeah, they're saying the Apollo moon landing, and again, across multiple networks, they're estimating between 125 and 140.
There we go.
And that's across think about that, 1969 across every network, and the Super Bowl on Fox just, in theory, beat that because they're just guessing.
Yeah. Did they put streaming numbers in the Super Bowl?
Yes. This
Yes.
because the whole across all platforms, that included Tubi and Fubo and stuff like that.
So this is from last year, so we don't have this year's Super Bowl, but the most watched broadcast, so we have Apollo moon landing, right? Which is probably now 2 compared to this Super Bowl. So Super Bowl is number 1, Apollo is number 2, and then 3 through 12 are Super Bowls, and then Richard Nixon's resignation speech.
Ah,
okay.
That was 110. Couple more Super Bowls. Mass series finale 105. That comes in at 16.
Al Capone's vault.
Couple more Super Bowls. There's the Michael Jackson Super Bowl halftime show. That was 102.
This says Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, 108 million.
Really? And
Is that nationally or worldwide?
That's
though?
worldwide.
Worldwide, just on Netflix.
Because someone else points out on the text line, like the World Cup would do a better number.
Yes.
Like the World Cup
But
final.
that, again, that's
Worldwide.
worldwide. This is just in the United States. O.J. Simpson's police pursuit. That, again, crossed multiple, but that got 95.
That's a good one.
And then everything else is the Super Bowl.
Wow, 95 million.
Yeah, 95 million.
So more people watched OJ than 9/11.
But again, I mean, it's because everyone was at home in front of their TVs. That thing happened during like what, an NBA Finals game, like right in prime time,
I think
like
that was
5, 6
Rockets.
o'clock.
I was at a pool hall, and that came on, and again, everyone in the bar, everyone in the pool hall just immediately stopped, and it was that was huge.
What about the
95
OJ
million people.
verdict? I feel like the OJ verdict would have been a big one.
The only actual program on here is Roots, Part 8 from 1977.
Really?
Yeah, old
Wow.
Kuta Kente. That got 100 million people on ABC. That's the only one that's in the top 25. Everything else is the Super Bowl or...
When you said MASH too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Never mind. MASH. MASH is in there. So there's
the
two.
MASH finale.
The MASH finale. So there's two scheduled programming, MASH series finale and Roots. Everything else is either the Super Bowl or a news story. Like, I would have thought the Kennedy assassination, but maybe there weren't enough TVs. Kind of back then, maybe that was more of a sit around the radio sort of thing.
There were about 1 million people expected at the Philadelphia parade on Friday.
Yeah.
Philly School District has canceled school.
Well,
that's
cool.
awesome.
As they should. I think that's kind of the
That's
standard
what you.
now.
I don't know. I
think
mean, I
Kansas
went to
City
a bunch
did
in the Bay Area, and that never happened.
KC did that.
Yeah. When my daughter was in Chicago, when the Cubs won, she was going to school, and they told she was working, and they said that if you don't come to work, you're fired, and everyone resigned. Everyone that she was at a sushi restaurant.
Good luck running your restaurant.
Yeah, and they were everyone was like, "What are you going to do?" And everyone,
Nice.
I told her, I said, "Just leave." I said, "They won't fire you, and even if they do, oh well, screw it." And I think they said at the time that was the largest parade. 5 million people went to that thing in Chicago when the Cubbies won the
Wow.
World Series. And she said, I want to say it was like 2 days after, because they did call her and say, "Don't bother coming back in." And then I think 2 or 3 days later, they called back and were like, "Can you come back to work?" Because everyone left.
Power in numbers, man.
Yeah. I mean, what's you going to remember? Like, if you're in Philly, if you don't give your kid the day off of school, like if you think that a random day in the middle of the school year is more important than your kid going to experience something like that, you got your...
Well, he just said they let out
Yeah,
school.
exactly. Everyone should do that because everyone wouldn't be there anyways.
How many people at the parade do you think, now take kids out of it, how many people at the parade did not see the game?
Oh, I think if you're going to the parade, I'm going to say the vast majority.
Yeah,
saw
if you're
the game.
in Philly and that's your team,
I'll bet you the Philly TV number was probably like 60 something.
Like, is there anyone at the parade like, who won? What is this? What's going on?
I'll bet you there are some people
are
that
these
just that walk out and are like, "Wait, what's going on?"
I'm reading that Cubs parade drew the 7th largest parade attendance in the history of the world, including like pilgrimages in India and the death, like the papal gathering in the Philippines and things like that.
What's number one?
Number one is Kumbh Mela pilgrimage India in 2013 drew 30 million people.
Good Lord.
Got a long way to go, Cubs.
And then the Arbaeen Festival in Iraq, number 2, 2014, 17 million people came to that.
And are they saying was I right? Was it 5 million in Chicago?
5 million in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's
They were at the park there, and my daughter said she'd never seen anything like it. I mean, 5 million people.
A Rod Stewart concert in Brazil drew 3.5 million.
The photos of that are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jeez.
My
Can you imagine being Rod Stewart? You're up. You're just Rod. You're one guy.
One guy.
3.5 million people.
You're not even the Beatles, man. Like,
yeah, but you're Rod freaking Stewart.
Okay,
You got
but
your
like
big package out there. You're just strutting around. Like, how good does that make you
3.5
feel?
million. How is that the number one for one event drawing musical act of all time? Like single
I think
one-off.
I think the story of that was it was right on the beach or something, right? And
Yeah,
so
I think so.
it was endless. It was
it
like
just went on
it just
forever.
kept people just showed up and just kept going and going and going.
They my buddy was he had just started to work with them, but Metallica got to play Russia when the Soviet Union fell. I think Billy Joel might have been the first one to do it. I'm not sure which one. It was Billy Joel, or I don't remember if he was the first or second, but Metallica played a concert. I believe it was at an old Russian military base, and I want to say they said it was like 1.5 million or something or other. Said you can't imagine. And there's photos of it. It's a sea of people that you just... I don't know if, as an artist, what you ever...
Does that make you... I mean, do you get nervous?
I don't know.
Look at all these people.
Yeah, I mean...
I got to do an extra hip thrust or two tonight.
I mean, at that point, like, if you're in the back of a crowd... I mean, I've seen the photos of the Metallica crowd. Now, 5 times that in Brazil for Rod Stewart. Is there a difference between, like, playing for... After a certain point, does it not matter? Because, like...
Probably not.
Does it just seem like a bunch of ants? You just get the masses out there?
He probably can't even... I mean, he can't see them all.
You can't see,
you just,
right? You just...
You see the same faces down up front.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, that guy again.
Have you ever been to anything that's...
3.5 million?
No, have you ever been to anything that's even, I mean, close to that?
I was at, I mean, I don't even know how many people. Well, okay, so real quick. They were saying that, so that show was at Copacabana Beach in Rio, and it was free. But they say it was 1994, Rod Stewart. But they say a lot of people were there just to see the fireworks. So it was one of those, again, it's just like everybody piles down to the beach.
Yeah.
And
then there happens to be Rod Stewart.
And Rod Stewart's playing.
The photo is...
It's nuts.
It looks
It's
it
absolutely
looks fake.
nuts. But 3.5 million people is still, that's insane.
Yeah.
But along those lines, I was in New York City for 4th of July once.
Yeah.
And it was cool. We left our hotel and walked down to whatever it is, where they have them on the barge there.
On one of the rivers.
On the river. And yeah, everybody piles down to the water. So it was just a mass of humanity sitting there waiting for the fireworks. And then walking back, I've never felt so claustrophobic in my life.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Oh, I can only imagine. Did you have an idea of how many?
No, I don't. I can look at it. I mean, I think they still do it to this day. So I would imagine there's a number on it. Because they just do it every 4th of July down there. And tons of people go out there. But it's not like 3.5 million people.
When we were in Japan a couple years ago, there's a big fireworks. It's their 4th of July. I forget what the festival is, but it's basically their 4th of July. And they didn't do it for a couple years because of COVID, and then it took a little bit. And so we went the year that it started back up. And I think they said it was like 800,000 people showed up to it. And that was the biggest thing I've ever been to. And it was insane. Like, I couldn't contemplate the number. It's insane. And then we saw it in the paper, and they were estimating about 800,000. And I'm trying to wrap my head around what that would look like, and then if you triple it or whatever. Like, it just that doesn't seem like that's possible.
I was wrong. They're saying 3 million for the New York City fireworks show.
Oh, so you have?
So it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
it
have
felt
seen something like that.
Well, but there's all the buildings and stuff, so you can't really see all those people.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of it's not like because the Brazil photo.
Yeah,
on the
you
beach
can see them.
You see it all.
The aerial is just insane.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the aerial of the 4th of July fireworks in New York City is insane too, but you can't really tell because there's a bunch of buildings.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was just wall to wall people.
It's insanity.
It was crazy.
It's insane. 3+ million people all crammed together. And then the fact that nothing really bad happens for the most part of those things is amazing.
Yeah.
You would just think with that many people crammed together, something eventually, it's going to set someone off.
Probably caught COVID.
Probably.
Super spreader event,
Something.
know. But,
I would assume that, that is...
but,
that's probably one of those super spreader events.
All right, well...
Hey, it's outdoors at least, right?
Great ratings for the Super Bowl.
Yes, for everyone that was saying that game didn't matter and people didn't care. And, apparently the numbers would say otherwise.
Well, it's every year it just keeps going up and up.
Yeah. Well, just because there's nothing else. And there's nothing else that's live anymore, right? I mean, it's why sports is so big. It's TiVo proof. It's the one thing you have to watch while it's on.
Let's talk about a team that hates their fans. Coming up next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update first on The Fan. In the association, the Toronto Raptors and newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 27-28 season. Lakers, still looking to solve their void in the paint, have signed free agent center Alex Len and waived Christian Wood in the process. In the college game, the Oregon Ducks back at it tonight, hosting Northwestern at Matthew Knight Arena. That'll tip off just after 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network and right here on The Fan. We will have pregame coverage starting from Eugene around 7:30. The Ducks are 9.5-point favorites. In the NFL, as expected, Kellen Moore, the Eagles OC, has taken the New Orleans Saints head coaching job. Reports indicate that Moore will tab former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the team's defensive coordinator. And Super Bowl TV ratings are in. The broadcast averaged over 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. On the diamond, the Dodgers and three-time Cy Young winner Clayton Kershaw have agreed to a one-year deal that will bring the former ace back for an 18th season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge. A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
Here come the Lakers into the front court with the ball in a one-point lead. Reeves, top of the key. Goes to Luka, right side. Doncic, dribbling one-on-one against Walker Kessler. Three-pointer over Kessler. It's good! Luka's first three is a Laker, and the place goes nuts.
Yeah, Luka had, I think, 14 last night.
Yeah, and they introduced him last. LeBron asked if he wanted to go last, and Luka said, let me do it one time, and then we'll go back to LeBron being last. And he did say he was really nervous. He said it was kind of weird to feel those nerves again.
He was probably housed.
LeBron told him, don't try to fit in. You fit the F out, whatever that means.
Cool. Thanks, LeBron.
Then gave him a copy of The Godfather.
Who's Leading the Charge? Powered by Battery Exchange. Mention code BXT10 at checkout for 10% off your entire purchase online at batteryexchange.com.
Hey, it's Sook, and for many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, the crown's disappearing, maybe hair loss has you feeling like your identity is lost altogether. Well,
The Fan.
Yeah, well, look, things are going poorly in Dallas, Texas.
It's not going good. Cowboy fan, Maverick fan, you know.
It's rough.
Anthony Davis played 2 quarters there and blew out a core muscle.
After being awesome.
Yeah.
What
Dude, it
could
was like
be-
the best first half like you could have, and then he's possibly done for the
He
year.
went for like 14, 8, and 3 in the first quarter. He was great.
What is next? What could they possibly? How could we crap on Dallas sports fan worse?
Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys suck. I mean,
Corey
suck.
Seager injury?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Something bad happens to SMU?
They have Ranger hope, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've been in the World Series like recently.
Yeah, but they weren't very good last year, were they? I don't think they were.
No.
Took a
They-
step back.
They were not very good. Oh, if it does anything for you, but like I know you don't care, but the Dallas Stars are good, but they always crap out.
Who's
on
their
the-
best player?
Who'd be their
It
best?
had
player?
been Pavelski for a while. I don't know that it still
Probably
is.
Jason Robertson.
Can we trade Jason Robertson to the Lakers?
Ottinger's their good goalie. Maybe ship him
Trade
out of town.
Ottinger. Anyway, 2 of the fans that were kicked out of the Dallas Mavericks arena last night during the loss to the Kings were holding large poster board signs that read "Fire Nico."
Yeah.
Which, of course, is a reference to their GM, Nico Harrison. And one of the men was seen mouthing "Fire Nico" on the arena video screens earlier in the game.
They ran him.
So they
What's
kicked
awesome
him
is
out.
they do like a karaoke sing along, and
Yeah.
they get fans ready to do it. So they handed him like a fake mic so he could do the song, and instead of mouthing the song, he just mouthed "Fire Nico," and they cut the feed immediately.
Yeah, dude. You want to talk about what a bunch of sensitive bitches that you are? I mean, this is the James Dolan, like Charles Oakley stuff. Like, who was the Carolina owner, right? Does this, David Tepper?
Tepper, yeah.
Like, the moment you start trying to control fans, you lose an entire fan base. Like, this is
Well, you just look so sensitive and petty.
yes. And by the way, you can't control a fan base. You can't piss off a fan base and then win them back by some sort of iron-fisted rule. Like, I just, how dumb do you have to be as an organization to engage in this? Because all you're doing, let's say, even if you let some people bring some signs in and some guy mousing and let it go, and this is a non-story. But the moment you start kicking people out, now every national broadcast is talking about this. It's local news stories, and it's only going to encourage more fans to keep trying this crap. I mean, this is just
A bunch of people were protesting
outside
the game.
Yep.
Mark Cuban was seen telling fans to sit the F down who were chanting "Fire Nico." Not a great look for him or them.
No.
I think it's weird. Everything's changed since Cuban sold his portion. I mean, these new owners, they really don't know what they're doing.
No.
And they seem to not really care. They're just sensitive rich people.
Yeah.
And that's why you have things like this. Because really, I mean, if you think about it, Nico Harrison, I heard somebody making this point today. I don't remember who it was, but it's like, this is all falling on Nico, and I'm sure he knows he kind of has to fall on this sword for that trade. But where is ownership in all this?
Oh, he made a statement. Do you want me to pull it up?
Who, Nico?
No, the owner.
The owner.
The owner wrote a
no.
statement, and it's weird. Hold on, let me get
No,
it.
I heard that. I'm just saying, like,
apparently,
why is no one giving the ownership team crap?
I think they all know that they're absentee landlords. Nico said that when he went to the owner was like, "What? Oh, I guess I trust you." I mean, even Nico kind of basically said this was not the owner's idea. And whether or not that's true or not, or he's just falling on the sword for the owner.
But he ran it by the owner, and the owner said okay.
The owner
He
said
greenlit
okay.
it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There should be criticism right there.
Yeah.
The owner should have said, wait a minute, what?
Problem is, I think when you're the
You're
owner
not doing that.
and you don't have any idea what you're doing,
Exactly.
I think that's just what this comes down
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why the ownership group, maybe it's because they're just kind of out of sight, out of mind, at least to the rest of the sports world.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not taking as much crap as Nico.
I don't know. I just think in general, most of the time when you get someone that's pissed off, a group of people, you just need one place to focus your energy. And Nico is
And the GM's the most frontward facing.
So very rarely does hate get spread out. You focus on one
Gotta
thing.
pick one.
And that's where everyone's anger goes. And for better or worse, Nico Harrison is he's the eye of the hurricane.
Well,
right now.
they've been decidedly different since Cuban left.
Yes.
And did you see that Nico was not available for the Anthony Davis introductory press conference?
Really?
Did you read that?
No, I did
He
not.
was not there.
Where
I mean,
was
he
he?
might have been there, but he wasn't available to the media.
Oh my gosh. Well, and this just goes.
That's just going to make it worse.
It's just going to make it worse because now you're hiding, and then my God, to have him go down potentially for the entire year, if you're Nico, you're just sitting there with your head in between your legs right now, just breathing into a paper bag. Because it's just, by the way, they may not make the postseason because they just had their other center go down for a significant period of time with a knee strain. I'm looking at where they're at. I want to say they were like 6th or 7th, right? They're 8th. They're 28 and 26. I mean, Phoenix isn't any good. San Antonio's not climbing up. Portland's not climbing up. So maybe they're a play-in team, but dude, Dallas is going to be the 9th or 10th seed in the West. And LA right now, LA doesn't have a center, but I mean, you imagine if LA ends up making a run and they end up going to the finals or the Western Conference Finals or whatever, and you're Dallas and you miss the postseason, like you get bounced in the play-in. I mean,
with all the injuries and with Davis's, I mean, he's a question mark. I don't see how they do make. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing's been blown up.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad.
So yeah, I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Dirk Nowitzki he was in LA for Luka's debut. I mean, it's
weird.
If you want to talk about Portland mismanaging the Damian Lillard thing, and they certainly did, regardless of whether you thought they should have built around him or moved him out, they butchered that thing. Dude, that looks like that's a first-class organization, like A+ compared to whatever the hell Dallas just did.
Well, the problem with it is, from Nico Harrison's perspective, is that there is no winning no matter what. No matter if you were right.
Yeah.
Because the scuttlebutt around the league is that the drinking is a real problem. They were tired of him. He was uncoachable. He ran
Carlisle
out of town. Yeah. He's really, really, really difficult, and they did not want to and he's got a big drinking problem, and they said they don't want to give him $350 million, and I can see where they're coming from on that.
Yeah.
So the problem, though, is how do you win at any point, even if you're right? Where does it ever look good for you?
The best way is by getting a really good haul for the guy, which you didn't do.
You didn't do that either.
And that would have been one saving
so
way to save
if Luka does not win a title in LA, it's not like we're going to be blaming Luka's lack of work ethic or hard to coach or his alcohol problems. Nobody's going to be blaming that.
No.
So Nico doesn't win there.
No.
He can't ever go, see, this is why I traded Luka, and this is why you don't pay that guy the Supermax. He's never going to have that moment.
No. And unfortunately, too, the other thing that he's known for is getting rid of Jalen Brunson because he didn't want to extend him. And now Brunson's an all-NBA guy. So it's just, he might need to call up Nike because I think he's going to be out of the NBA real soon. I mean, I don't know how you recover from those two things. And if you're a Mavericks fan, I don't know what to tell you because it's I'm trying to think of the last time someone that was 23, 24 is Luka 25? But he's
25 now.
25. When's
He's
the last time a
five-time
team
All-Pro.
lost its 25-year-old generational 5-time All-NBA player? Like this doesn't happen. Yeah. I think they said the only other players that kind of met that criteria were Tracy McGrady and I think Wilt Chamberlain. So,
do you think Jode and the Blazers would allow people signs that read "sell the team"?
No,
because I don't think they would either.
They'll pull it. They'll pull them out.
You know, I mean, I see that viewpoint.
Sure.
I mean, I do.
Yeah.
But I also think it's probably better PR to just ignore them.
Well, and there's a difference between taking a sign and kicking people out.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you can just take it.
What if they're wearing it on a shirt and they can't take the shirt off?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's tough. I mean, I guess then I suppose you can do hey, turn it inside out or, we're going to ask you to leave, but I don't know. Kicking people out of arenas for expressing an opinion. So then what about booing? Do we start?
Right. Or dropping an F-bomb.
Or dropping an F-bomb, booing. It's just, it's a slippery slope,
telling a player they suck.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me that you can sit next to me or you and offend everyone in the section and have to, and probably not get kicked out.
Yeah.
You're just an obnoxious fan,
mm-hmm.
and yet you bring a sign that says "Fire the GM" and you're out of there instantly.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Again, I think there's a difference between saying, "Hey, man, we appreciate the opinion. Let's give me your sign, and if you don't want to, then you can leave." But the guy gives you a sign. Let him sit there and voice his opinion.
Yeah.
It's just we all find me a situation where an organization, a company, whatever, right, even an individual, reacted in a very sensitive editing manner and it ended up being a good thing for them. Find me one.
I can't.
This is not
a thing.
This is not a way to handle it that ever turns out good for you.
Aaron Rodgers, next on the Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
I'm not sure it constitutes breaking news, but if you are nostalgic and feeling like you're just missing Oregon football, little light at the end of the tunnel. They've announced their spring game. April 26th, 1 o'clock. Your first look at Dante Moore and company.
Get excited. Like I said, that'll be our first, because they won't have any open practices, I'm guessing.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe some sort of scrimmage, but yeah, that'll be the one that all the fans can attend.
They do the military theme, right, and all that,
Yeah.
and the Ducks surplus sale, and they've done a nice job. They invite all the recruits.
Usually there's a baseball game adjacent that same day.
Yeah, they've done a nice job with that.
Serena Williams will be dancing.
Probably not. But...
Kendrick Lamar will be no.
Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
If you're considering new construction and want it done right and fast by a team that's focused on innovation, collaboration, and creativity, you want Mods PDX. At Mods PDX, we craft beautiful, sustainable, energy-efficient buildings of the highest quality. Our modular approach means your project can be completed faster than traditional construction, and our team of uniquely qualified architectural and
The Fan.
All right, I have the odds on Aaron Rodgers' next team. It came out over the weekend, although we were all distracted by the Super Bowl, but the Jets don't want him back.
No. I can't honestly believe that anyone really wants him. I think maybe a team or two might be desperate, but I think that list is going to be few and far between.
I think they are desperate. And, you get a guy of his pedigree, Somebody will give him a chance.
Yeah,
There's just no question.
It's just the point of he's not good. He's just not anymore. He's not
And he
good.
ruffles feathers.
And not only is he not only is he not good, but he brings with him a giant cavalcade of ass problems.
He makes the rest of your job difficult as a
Yes.
coach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but if you don't have a quarterback, wouldn't you?
No,
it's,
I
It's a
wouldn't.
bit like the Luka thing.
I think you have to weigh it. You have to say, like, is his experience and talent that he used to have worth this headache? And for a lot of coaches that have it dialed in and think their team is close, I think that answer is no.
I would not want him because this is my thing. If I am a rebuilding team or a team that's trying to get my footing underneath me, right? See the Raiders or Jackson. I mean, Jacksonville has a quarterback, but I'm just trying to think of places that would need a quarterback, right? I don't want him. That is not a culture builder, nor is he going to. He's what, 40? Is he 41?
41, maybe.
So, I mean, my God, he shouldn't be playing now. And at most, I have one more year with him. So why would I bring him in? And if I am a team that is thinks I can win, is that really? Like, I would rather roll the dice on Sam Darnold than I would Aaron Rodgers, because this idea that I have everything in place to win and I'm just lacking a quarterback, and I'm going to bring in a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers who hasn't been good in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, that's coming off of massive injuries and disappointment, and at times most of the time just looked absolutely washed. I don't get that.
Care to guess who the favorite is?
Maybe the Raiders?
The Vegas Raiders, 2-1, followed by the Steelers at 3-1. Niners 4-1. How about
Really?
that, Buckley?
That seems odd to me, especially because I think they're going to pay Purdy, so I don't
They
know
are
why
gonna
you
pay
would.
Brock
I don't know why you would do that.
Saints 6-1 and Seahawks.
Oh my God.
8-1.
Surprised the Vikings weren't on that list because they've kind of indicated they're not moving forward with Darnold, and you don't know what you're going to have with McCarthy.
The only one that makes any sense, there's two that make any sense to me. Minnesota, if you're moving on from Darnold, you're not certain that McCarthy's ready to go. Minnesota is a proven team that in that system with good quarterback play, you can win 14 games.
They weren't on the list. I mean, they weren't high on the list.
Yeah, that one makes sense to me, and the Steelers, because again, you're a good team. And when I say makes sense, believe me, this is in the loosest terms, because Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers at 41 years old is not taking that crappy ass offense anywhere. But neither's Russell Wilson, neither's Justin Fields. And so I can, I guess, see the idea that you bring in Aaron Rodgers and believe that he can get on some HGH and some Tom Brady stuff and try to work some magic. But he still doesn't have a run game, nor does he have anyone to throw the ball to that gives a damn. And I'm sure Pickens and him are going to get along swimmingly. And Mike Tomlin won't put up with any Aaron Rodgers crap.
That's what I was thinking, is that he and
No.
Tomlin are going to get together about as well as oil and water.
But the idea that the whole point of bringing in Pete Carroll and Tom Brady is to get some adults in the room and start building a culture in Vegas. And by the way, they're in they won't be competitive for years.
Yeah.
And so bringing in Aaron Rodgers, like what? And the Niners one is just stupid. I mean, that may be the dumbest thing. Anyone that thinks that is even a remote possibility is a moron.
Do women talk more than men?
Girl, you something else.
Why are you laughing?
Well, I think
Are you thinking of something sexist?
I'll bet you that this is going to be a little skewed.
You big jerk. What do you mean?
Well, the idea is that women won't shut up.
He's already calling fake news on your study.
I'm going fake news. I'll bet you men talk more than women.
Okay.
Hasn't even heard the result yet, and he doesn't believe it.
Well, we'll have the answer for you next in the club on the Fan.
I'm Jeff Jr.
the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors and newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 27-28 season. Meanwhile, the Lakers, looking to solve their void at center, have signed free agent Alex Len and waived Christian Wood to make room on the roster. In the college game, the Oregon Ducks back at it tonight, hosting the Northwestern Wildcats at Matthew Knight Arena. That one will tip at 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. And right here on the Fan, we'll have pregame coverage from Eugene starting at 7:30. The Ducks favored by 9.5. Meanwhile, in college football news, the Oregon Ducks have announced their spring game. They'll be playing that at 1 o'clock on Saturday, April 26th. In the NFL, as expected, the New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore to be their next head coach, and reports indicate that Moore will be bringing on former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the team's defensive coordinator. Super Bowl TV ratings are in, and the broadcast averaged over 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. On the dime, the Dodgers and three-time Cy Young winner Clayton Kershaw have agreed to a one-year deal that brings him back for an 18th season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. The following show may contain adult themes not suitable for children.
Shut the hell up.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk.
It does go well with a chicken.
I didn't know hanging out with you was making me smarter. Full disclosure, Morty, it's not. Temporary superintelligence is just a side effect of the mega seeds dissolving in your rectal cavity.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and once those seeds wear off, you're gonna lose most of your motor skills, and you're also gonna lose a significant amount of brain functionality for 72 hours, Morty. Starting right about now.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
It's pumping. Seattle.
Big deal. I could see them winning this game. I could see them losing this game.
I don't think I could eat beaver. What?
Come on, you dumbass. Eat me.
Finally, but not last. Wild card, bitches!
Jacked a granny.
We jacked a granny today.
Wow.
She won't even return his calls, you freaking bitch. What is Take up off your with shirt that? And throw me. Take off your shorts and dunk me.
You can't just kick a homeless person off a bike and take
How far up your ass is your head? I'm going to kick your ass, you little bitch. I've never seen so much dong in my life.
They are going to rock your ass for 2 hours.
I'm coming hard. Hello?
You know, I have a homeless bike update. I have a very disappointed in one of our fans. Well, that story about you can't kick a homeless guy off a bike. If you remember, I was in the market trying to buy a bicycle, and a homeless man was on a bike very similar to what I was trying to buy.
A very nice bike.
A very nice bike. Literally like a $6,000 bike. And offered to sell it to me. At which point I was very rude and told the guy that he was a terrible human being. F that guy. And he stole that bike. Well, fast forward, I had a listener who had DM'd me on Twitter and was asking me, he said, hey, I'm looking at getting a bike. You know, what kind of bike should I get? Told me what he was looking for. So I was like, oh, here's a couple, you know, like this is kind of what I would get. You're looking for a commuter bike right here. And then he texts me back like a couple weeks later and he goes, hey, FYI, I bought one of those bikes. And I thought that it would probably go for like $500-600. And he goes, yeah, he goes, I bought it off a guy on Craigslist. He goes, I'm pretty sure it was stolen. It was like $90. And I was like, you son of a bitch. And he goes, yeah, I didn't have the fortitude to not buy it. It's buying stolen bicycles.
Yeah, that's a lack of morals.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I knew it was stolen. He goes, I looked him up and he goes, they were all going for like, you know, $600, $700, $800. This guy was offering $100. I talked him down to like 90. And I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I know it's stolen, but he goes, it's a really nice bike. I'm like, you son of a gun. Tried to provide an example for people and our listeners out there buying stolen property.
Instead, you showed him an opportunity.
I did show him an opportunity.
Well, not everyone can have our level of heroism. I was about to say heroinism.
Well, Rob's known for his moral compass.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Well, it is a tough situation. Like, if you're looking to buy something and,
Well-known,
and
actually.
you know it's such a sweet deal, but you know it's stolen, you know, that's a tough, you know, you're like, oh, man, well, I didn't steal it, but Gonna buy it.
90 bucks.
90 bucks.
Why doesn't the guy sell it for way more?
I don't think the guy had any idea that it was, I think when you steal a bicycle and you're just like
the stolen thief?
Yeah, I think you're
puts it on Craigslist for $90.
That guy's looking for cash as soon as he can get it.
No, I understand, but there's two things here. One, put it on there for way more. Nobody will know it's stolen.
That's true. But then,
and you'll make more money.
Problem is that, like, for bikes, like I bought and sold several bicycles. Those are not things that sell very quickly. If you want to get rid of it, you need to price it very aggressively. Now, I will say $100 is very, very aggressive.
I mean, that's like red flag.
That's
all over
red flag. But apparently, there's people out there that don't care, including this listener who I advised on what to buy. He jumped all over it. And then still talked the guy down for $10. He's like, how about 90?
It's like when you bought that stolen vacuum.
I did buy a stolen vacuum.
So you're no better than that guy.
Although, to be fair, I don't know that I bought a stolen vacuum. I just bought one out of the back of a guy's van.
That guy doesn't know either, but I'm pretty sure.
He knows.
Well, you knew too.
He knows. I will never forget when I met the guy and he opened up his van and he just had like 12 vacuums in the box in there. I was like, oh my gosh. But in that moment, I'd already committed to the vacuum purchase. I needed the vacuum. What's a good deal? It's Dyson vacuums are expensive.
So do women talk more than men? Way back in 2007, how old were you in 2007?
2007? Oh, I was in my 20s. 29?
The University of Arizona put together a large study that refuted the claim that women are more talkative than men.
Mm-hmm.
They found that men and women speak roughly the same number of words per day.
Oh.
Roughly 16,000 words per day.
I'm guessing most of those words from men are talking down to other women, but...
Wow. Well, there's been a new, larger follow-up to that study that paints a more nuanced picture, Jace.
Talk to me.
It suggests that women may be the chattier gender, but only during a certain period of life.
I'm guessing that's not when they get old? Are we talking like adolescence?
So they found no significant differences in men and women number of words used between the ages of 10 and 17. No significant difference.
Yeah.
The ages of 18 to 24. No significant difference. And 65 and up. No significant difference.
Oh.
The difference of about 3,000 or more words per day is from the ages of 25 to 64.
Huh. I would have thought it'd be kids because having raised two little girls, there is nothing more talkative on the planet than like a 6-year-old girl. I mean, it is
doesn't
stop.
Well, they didn't study, so there was nobody before 10. Like I said, 10 to 17 was the first group. Yeah. So,
because I had the one son and then we had the two daughters, but I've been around a bunch of their friends, and I'm telling you, little boys, I mean, they're just out doing little boy crap. But little girls, they will ask you a million questions, and if you ever want to beat your head into a wall, just sit down and ask a little girl like what's her favorite movie, and she will give you a line by line summation of her favorite movie.
And then,
yeah,
and then this guy,
yes.
and then the princess.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why.
And you just sit there and you're like, oh my god. But yeah, I guess so really, I would have thought it would have skewed younger. So it's in the sweet spot of getting old.
The research also discovered that people in general might be becoming less talkative.
I can see that because of just social media and text and all
digital communication.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk. I don't need to talk. Text me.
Well, I just think that's in general. Again, go ask a young person to have a conversation with someone. Their anxiety goes through the freaking roof. They can't communicate.
So you should know that during the ages, if your wife or girlfriend is between the age of 25 and 64, she is speaking on average about 3,000 more words per day than you.
Does your wife ever just want to talk to you because you guys should talk? Like that, there's no...
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, she'll just be like...
She doesn't... I don't know how it is in your house, but I can tell you in my house, it does not matter when my wife wants to talk or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
No.
What matters is we talk.
Yeah.
And we talk.
Yeah. I'll be sitting there and she'll just look at me and she'll be like, say something. And I'll be like, huh? And she's like, I don't know, we let's talk. And I'm like, about what? She's like, anything. And I'm like, that throws me for a loop.
Yeah, so it has to be, provoking conversation out of nothing is interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't get that. She just has
that.
something to say, and she says it, and it doesn't matter if I'm listening to something, if I'm on the... it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
I could be working. Well, technically, our work is like sitting on the couch prepping, but she doesn't care.
It's award-winning show prep.
Yeah.
That's right. I've won awards for it. She doesn't care.
No.
She wants to talk.
Oh, that happens too. It was on Super Bowl Sunday. I was listening to a podcast sitting in my chair, and it was the morning I was farting around on a video game, and she started talking to me, and of course, I didn't really hear it, and I got in trouble.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you can't do that because it looks like you're ignoring.
But I was like, I'm doing two things. I'm playing this game. You can see that I have my phone next to me, and you can hear the podcast that I'm listening to. And yet you expect me to be able to listen to you. I'm like, it's a bridge too far.
She doesn't expect you to be able to listen to her. She expects you to shut off the podcast and listen to her. Yeah. So you have to do both.
Maybe shut off the video game too.
You only have to do one.
Yeah.
And it's listen to me.
That's true.
That's what she expects.
But my ones that I struggle with are I'm telling you, I'll just be sitting on the couch for no rhyme or reason, 9 o'clock at night, just sitting there, and she'll just scoot over next to me, get real close, and I'm like, are you all right? And she'll just be like, tell me something. And I never know. I'm like, she's like, you talk all the time. And I'm like,
That's true. We do talk all the time.
And then I'm like, I don't know what.
Do you find you have less to say as you get older?
100%.
Because I do.
Yeah. Well, and I don't like, and we've talked about this, I don't like explaining news. There's nothing that jams me up more than, hey, did you hear about such and such? And I'm like, yeah, we talked about it. And then she just looks at me with like this weird blank expression as if I'm about to then have to go into it. And I'm like, do I really? And she's like, you explain it to your audience. I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't.
And then that's when you say, honey, our show's available on podcast if you'd like to listen.
Boy, that'd be condescending.
I got this one the other day. So because like the audiobooks. So she'll be like, oh, what are you listening to? And I'm like, oh, it's called like it was like 6 minutes to midnight or whatever. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's a book on the Cuban Missile Crisis. What's the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Is she too young for the Cuban Missile Crisis?
You what?
Is she too young for the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Well, I think everyone's too young for the Cuban Missile Crisis. But that and she,
I know what it is, and I'm 50.
Yeah,
49.
So
she's. Well, I don't want to.
And then I had to. And
she's 25.
And so then I do the. Well, it was the thing, and and I give a brief synopsis, and then like, I'll stop, and then I eventually get it, and I'll with it doesn't matter. It's a long thing, and you can look it up, and she'd be like, why? Why can't you tell me about it? Because I don't. How on earth am I going to explain the Cuban Missile Crisis in less than like it's too much. It's too much.
The other thing that my wife does is that she'll know that she's out of the loop on something that's happened. Not like more of a pop culture thing that, she had no idea of who the Hawk-Tuah girl was.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so something like this will come up and she's like, well, what's that? And I'll start to explain it and I'll get to a point where it's very clear she no longer has interest and wish she hadn't asked. And it's like, okay, when are you going to shut up? I'm like, you asked about this.
Yeah. I'm trying to explain it to you thoroughly. So
and then she's like, yeah, there's a reason I didn't want to know. I'm like, okay.
Bitch.
My usual response is it doesn't matter, and nothing pisses her off more than when I tell her it doesn't matter.
How about go look it up?
She says that's what I'm there for.
You're her Google.
I am just there to explain things.
Here's a guy on the text line says, I fear quiet moments around the house because then my wife will say, so what do you want to talk about? But of course, I always have the wrong topic. Things like, how should I get you out of those clothes are non-starters. I like that. Here's another one says, I've got a friend who wants to be on the phone all the time and discuss whatever. And I'm just like, dude, text me. I'm busy.
Yeah. See, and I don't mind. And I think that's the part that jams her up is I don't mind chatting. No problem. But forcing.
Something of substance, perhaps?
Well, yeah.
It's almost like telling a comedian, like, say something funny.
Yes.
It's not that you can't converse, but just being prompted to do it from a standstill on whatever.
And do I speak for a lot of men when I say, if there's nothing to talk about, why are we talking?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
It's not like we have to talk.
No.
Let's just hang.
Again, yeah, exactly.
Why are we filling? It's just hollow words. Like,
Thank
who
you.
cares?
Exactly.
If we've got, like, I don't know. I'm usually pretty succinct with what I have to tell her. Like, things like, important conversations or whatever. I'm usually succinct about it. She's like, well, she's a therapist.
Yeah.
So she's always like, well,
Wait.
well, how are you feeling? Tell me more. I'm like, no, I just told you everything I needed to tell you. All in 3 sentences.
Then you're done.
I'm going to go hit balls.
Someone says, careful, guys. My wife's in the car with me. You're getting in trouble. Yeah. So if you're driving around with your husband right now, know that he's sitting there being like, oh, boy.
Well, I mean, he loves you. He's married to you.
Yeah.
Baby.
What's up, Sugar Teas? You're doing great.
We don't need to talk all the time about nothing.
Yeah.
Do you ever get the one where you go somewhere or you do something and then you get back and they're like, well, are you going to tell me about da-da-da-da-da? I'm like, well, sure. Are you going to ask about it? Do you ever, does that ever happen?
No.
Like I'll go out to dinner with friends or something like that. Friends I haven't seen in a while, and I'll come back, and I'll just be kind of going about my business, and like my wife will be like, so are you going to tell me about dinner? And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. What do you want to know? Like, do you want to ask me about dinner?
Yeah, see, to them,
Luckily,
it's really common to just talk about the dinner.
Yes.
They just want to tell you everything, what they had.
I so understand where you're coming from.
But to men, we don't, like, why do you need to know about there's no.
Or if you
there's
want to
nothing
know
tell.
something, then ask me a specific question.
Hey, what did you have?
Or like, who did you sit next to and who did you chat with tonight? I mean, whatever.
I also get this one
Right.
a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with this move, but this one happens quite a bit too. Hey, what happened with so-and-so's wife? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Oh, we didn't talk about it. What do you mean you didn't talk about it? I didn't talk about it.
I bet you guys both get this one. You go out golfing with a friend and you're out there for 4 hours over 18 holes, and then you get back and they're like, what'd you guys talk about? And you're like, nothing. I mean, I don't know.
golf.
We golfed. We kind of chit-chatted. Like, you didn't find out how such and such kid or
Yeah.
wife or
I've
job was
gotten
going?
that
I'm
one
like,
a-
I don't know, man.
I've gotten that one a lot. Hey, how's your so-and-so? I don't know.
Didn't ask him.
But he shot 74.
You didn't ask him how his wife was? Well, I mean, we
No.
talked. He brought her up at some point in time.
We don't talk about crap like that. We talk about sports and stuff, man.
That is the and that's just those are differences. And by the way, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's just
We're right.
There's just differences in.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
right.
different.
And those of us that stay happily married for a long time, we what do I want to say? We
just learn how to navigate those
learned,
waters.
That's right. We can row that boat.
And it's upon her to also realize that at this point she understands that I will have no details that she wants. Like she'll be like, "When are you leaving?" Like there's a trip coming up or something. Hey, when are you guys leaving? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. We'll figure it out. What hotel you staying at? Couldn't tell you. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. My buddy booked it. And you don't have that information?
This happens to me. When I went down to the Rose Bowl for the day, she wanted to know about all the where are your seats? I mean, I'm going to get down there and I'm going to figure it out. I don't know.
The biggest one that I ever got was Dusty invited me last year to the crab feed. There's a crab feed, and it turns out it's like in basically the Oregon-Idaho border. It's
Nowhere
like
near an ocean.
No. But I just assumed it was a crab feed, and it was like 5 hours away. I thought we were going to the Oregon coast. And she called me like 3.5 hours into the trip. And she's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I don't know. We just pulled over to some casino. And she's like, what's the casino? And I told her, and she goes, what? That is the exact opposite of the coast. I'm like, yeah, it turns out we're not going to the coast. I thought she was going to, if she could have stabbed me in the eye through the phone, she would have.
Well,
and she's like, you didn't know where you were going? I'm like, I assumed the coast. Turns
Is this
out.
because she's worried that you're deceiving her?
I don't know. I think at this point she realizes that there is no deceiving. I just don't know.
I also think it's jarring to the women that we don't know, like that we could go about something like that and not have a care that we're going east versus west.
Yeah, they don't get that.
She cannot process that I am getting in a car or getting on an airplane and I am not aware of the hotel or any information. I'm just getting on there trusting that wherever we're going is where we're supposed to be going, and it pisses her off so much because she cannot process it. Where I'm like, I don't know, I'm not in charge of it. Someone else is driving the van. I'm just in the back, heading this way.
Are you guys? One more thing here. Are you as shocked and almost impressed with the level of detail to which your wife thinks about things?
Oh, it's
as much as I am.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Like I cannot believe how much my wife thinks about every little thing.
Yes.
Regarding I don't know, small example, what she's going to put in her bag on her trip.
100%.
She thinks about everything. Freaking, and that is so bizarre to me because I do not think like that at all.
My wife will start packing for a trip like 3 days beforehand to make sure that everything
she'll
is
have
like, out
everything.
and I'm like, she's like, well, when it gets here, I'll just be ready to go. And I'm like, yeah, I'll throw all my stuff in the bag 16 minutes before I need to leave.
Right, and we'll think about. Yeah, we'll inevitably forget something, but we'll think about, okay, here's what I need. What's the weather like? That's about it.
I
They
live
think
by
about-
the anything I need I can buy at the place that I'm going to.
And then she'll be like, well, this is what. So she'll have everything. Like, I'll be on the trip, and then I'll be like, hey, do you have any fingernail clippers? So she'll be like, aha. See? This is why I'm so prepared, because you're not. Like, that's not being prepared, is it?
Well, the anxiety level that exists.
I'll just go buy some.
Every now and then, she will give me a glimpse inside of her thought process, and I am terrified of.
What does that mean?
Well,
tell us more about that.
She has a lot of anxiety. She worries a lot, and she claims that I worry about nothing, which is partially true.
It's a good life. A key to a good life is worrying about far less than you need to.
Yes.
My wife is frequently upset that there's so little on my radar.
Yes.
That she's like, you have no idea like how burdened I am by this like mental load. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to take some of it from you, but like that stuff that you're always thinking about, I am not. So I don't know how to make that happen.
My 7-iron I just can't hit it straight.
So yeah, once in a while she will let me in on what she's really the deep dive into what she's thinking about. And I'll just sit there with a look on my face like, let's never talk about this again. Because it is such a broad, to say it casts a wide net of things to worry about, that does a disservice to wide nets. It's like a West Coast of worry. And everything from massive things like death to the world's small, they all fit under one umbrella, and it goes on in her head
all the time.
All the time.
She never stops thinking.
Never stops, ever, whatsoever. And it's like
that sounds rough.
And I'm like, this is.
Yeah, I'm like, no wonder you're exhausted at the end of the day. You've been thinking about this stuff nonstop.
Yeah, you know how you don't have anxiety? Don't think about that stuff.
I also like this one.
I should be a therapist.
I also like this one too. Like my son was home a while back. He came down for a long weekend, and we were hanging out. And it was, you ever one of those with your son where you just end up like you pour a couple bourbons or whatever, and you sit down and talk. And so it got to be like 11:30 at night, and my gal had to wake up in the morning for work. We had Monday off. I think we had a duck game or something. And so she's like, I got to go to bed. And we're like, all right, we'll see you later. She goes to bed. Me and my boy ended up killing a bottle, and we were hanging out. So I didn't come to bed until like 3 in the morning, 2:30, 3 in the morning. We stayed up a lot. And we were just kind of chatting. And I go walking into the bedroom, and guess who's up? And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I just couldn't sleep. And I was like, what? The fear of missing out. She wanted to be a part of that. And I'm like, then why didn't you just come downstairs?
So the FOMO, she's FOMO.
FOMO.
Wow.
Huge FOMO.
So
she
just
cannot
huddled
sleep.
up there in the room waiting because she might have missed something?
Yeah, and so I'm like,
Rocking
did you
back
sleep?
and
She
forth.
goes, I don't know. She goes, I keep waking up like every 20 minutes. She goes, but I didn't want to go downstairs because then I knew I wouldn't sleep. I'm like, you're not going to sleep anyways. And I'm like, what did you think she was talking about? And that was the problem. When I said, what do you think we're talking about? The amount of topics that she thought that we could possibly be discussing.
A lot on the table, huh?
Lot on the table. And then I actually told her what we talked about, and she was like, oh. It's like, you didn't miss out on a damn thing. Oh. But that will happen. She cannot sleep for fear that something is going down and she should be a part of it, but she will try to force herself to sleep. It's unbelievable.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, ladies. There's a little segment for you. Somebody texted and said, now my wife's worried about me listening to this show. Way to go, guys.
YouTube chat says, today at the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
No.
It's just
I'm
not
hating anything. It's
like,
just.
how do people interpret it that way?
It's just a Mars-Venus thing.
It's just a bunch of dudes talking about being dudes.
Yeah.
And dumb bros.
I don't hate. Believe me, there's probably a million things that she looks at me and is like, what a dumbass. But
well, yeah, I mean, I think all of these things we're talking about are why women are the superior species.
Yes.
Like, I can't think of all the detail that goes through her head.
No.
She's better than I am.
Yeah.
Still, I'd rather just
Yeah.
worry about my 7-iron.
Exactly.
You know. All right.
Mine is like, what am I going to eat for lunch? I
Exactly.
think about my lunch a lot.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
like,
about what I'm going to drink.
I'm like, I don't know.
What am I going to have tonight?
Hey, that is an important question.
What am I in the mood for?
I guarantee you know what I'm going to think about during this break? Oh, my God. Maybe it's a Black Label sort of
Get
night.
some whiskey out. Yeah. Maybe I'll hit the scotch. And then I get all excited.
Yeah. I think about lunch a lot. Like, I plan my day. I'm like, what am I do for lunch? Lunch is a money meal for me.
All right, we got to run. Coming up next. What is coming up next? God, that was a long. That was a long.
You're a
segment.
break behind.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Red, White, and Blue Land. Are you ready for it?
No.
Because I am.
No, I'm not.
We're going. That's next on The Fan. Hey, it's Rob sticking around for the Niche this February. Groundhog Day. You don't need to be around for that, right? You don't need to be around for President's Day or even Valentine's Day, although your wife may kick you in the nuts. Don't miss your chance. You can miss all those things, but don't miss your chance from Window Nation to save 60% off all window styles and pay nothing for 2 full years. Nobody wants to miss savings of 60%. That's about as good as it gets on anything. And with heating costs going up, experts say it's going to get even worse in that regard before spring comes. So Window Nation has some of the best insulated windows you can buy. They can install in a day or less, and they all come with a lifetime warranty. They have a 96% customer satisfaction rating. This is all they do is windows, and they are great. So hurry, the sale ends February 28th. Schedule a free, no-obligation, in-home consultation right now with the pros at Window Nation. Tell them you heard it from me, Isaac. 866-90-NATION to get on their schedule. That's 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. Isachi.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is a nationwide contest for a chance to win a trip for you and 3 friends to Las Vegas.
somehow when you were gone last time, when you were in Vegas, and me and Buck were doing the show together, we did tell the infamous Isaac Robb, to what I feel is the greatest example of Isaac Robb not caring. I don't know if you remember this, but we were told there was a mandate coming down from higher up, from back in Philadelphia, about some extracurricular things that we were going to have to do.
I think it was on the app, perhaps.
Yes.
That didn't end up. It didn't
Remember,
end up
there was a certain app that we had to download, and we were going to put content just on.
Yeah, I think it was videos, right, or something.
And we sat there for a half hour, and you did not say a word, not a single word in the entire meeting, as you turned your chair back and forth. And I believe
mostly staring at the ceiling.
And I believe the first words out of your mouth were, we can't repeat what they were, but
who was in the meeting?
You, me, Buck, and Jeff.
Yeah.
Is this right, Buckley?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, your response was, "Oh, F off," or something like that.
That was the first. After 30 minutes of being
or maybe it was
silent in a
F
meeting.
you. I don't remember.
F off.
Well, it was ridiculous. You have to admit, and you're welcome. That's the other thing. You're welcome.
It died.
And let me tell you something. That did die, and I will tell you this too. I never did S with that, and I told him I wasn't going to.
Suk also regaled the tale of you showing up to, I think it was a production meeting back when you had production meetings, and you were flipping through the Girls of the Pac-12.
Well, yeah. See that? Okay, but you can back me on this one.
What? I mean,
Dennis was our boss.
Yes.
And he would. The show meeting was not for us. It was just for him to just tell jokes and tell what he would do if he had a show, and that was very uninteresting to me. And I didn't
It was
care.
not an important meeting.
No, it's like him. It's like, here's what you guys should. Shut up, dude. This girl's hot.
I did enjoy though that it would be in the middle of a meeting and you would be flipping through the Girls of the Pac-12.
Like, I'm looking at Sarah Jean again.
I loved her. Remember when we had her in in studio?
Yeah.
In the stewed?
Yeah. There is a long line of Isaac Robb meetings that I will never forget. Long after this show is dead and gone,
Listen,
I will remember you in meetings.
I have to be fair here. I have to say this. I love what I do.
Yeah.
I do. I love this job. But let me tell you something. Behind the scenes, they ask you to do a lot of dumb crap.
Yeah.
And I just refuse to do it.
You do. You do.
It's just not.
I just love when someone says this is mandatory, and you're like, man, we'll find out about that.
No, it isn't.
Rob pushes the boundaries.
Maybe for others, not for me.
And look, again, I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. What are you going to do? Fire me? I don't care. I really don't.
You're the Ricky Gervais.
What are you going to do? Pee on me? Like, I don't know. I don't care.
Oh, F off.
I'm going to shove a burrito in my ass.
Me and Buck just looked at each other and we're trying not to laugh and also be horrified.
So we're not doing it then.
Well, you guys did it because you're little soldiers.
We might have done it like once or
You
twice,
did it.
and that
I
thing
remember.
died.
Yeah. I remember Suk asked me, he's like, "Have you done that?" I'm like, "No."
No.
Well, it's supposed to be you guys. Anyways.
Well, I know.
Like, Buck, get over here.
Yeah. Hey, Buck, Rob doesn't want to do this, so can you do this?
Shut up and do it.
You know what my next one is? Well, no, I better not say that. I have a hill I'll die on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's careful.
Yeah.
Don't die. Yet.
I won't say it until it comes
There
up.
you go. It's probably
because it's going to come out. Although they do a great job of leaving us alone.
Yes, they
not
do.
corporate, but our local leaders.
Yes, they do.
They let us do our thing, and I appreciate that.
They leave us alone.
The company, though, Odyssey, my God,
they got big ideas.
They're still sending me emails about those stupid. You have a training session you got to do.
Yeah. When's the last time you did a training
Dude,
session?
it's been years, and I delete them every time.
I was made to do like 20 of those last year.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Because I let a bunch of them expire.
Well,
I'm like, they're not going to do anything, and
no, they do.
They started bugging me.
They start coming after
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But they haven't yet, so I just make them. I make some dude earn his salary back in Philadelphia.
You will bird dog me.
You're keeping someone employed.
That's right. All right, there's another long, stupid segment.
Yeah.
Coming up next, what did I tease last time?
I think we stepped it. We're a break behind, so.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I got to tell you well, I wanted to talk about red, white, and blue land.
Yeah.
But that won't take long. But we have a stunning Ozempic side effect.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
That is hitting Americans. So if you know anybody on Ozempic.
Ozempic.
It's getting rough out there. But first, Buck with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan. In the association, the Raptors and newly acquired forward Brandon Ingram have agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 27-28 season. In the college game, the Oregon Ducks back at it tonight, hosting the Northwestern Wildcats at Matthew Knight Arena. That one will tip at 8 o'clock with coverage on the Big Ten Network and right here on the Fan. We will have pregame coverage starting at 7:30 with the Ducks favored by 9.5 points. In the NFL, as expected, the New Orleans Saints are hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as their next head coach. Former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley is expected to be named the team's defensive coordinator. And Super Bowl ratings are in, the broadcast averaging over 127 million viewers across all platforms, setting a new ratings record. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is our nationwide contest for a chance to have the ultimate tournament viewing experience with 3 of your friends.
Easy.
You should start dressing that way for the show.
Not a chance.
Can you wear like those little armband ones, like where you roll your shirt up and you put the arm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was like. That's what this manager wanted me to wear, like little like puffy braces on your blousey sleeves. Like, man.
It's like Flair at Applebee's.
Exactly
Buck, I think you would look great in that. I'm siding with management here. I think we should try to force Buckley to do that. What if I can get Cooley to tell you that's what you have to dress?
What if we did instill a dress code at the Fan?
Remember when we first got on Comcast? Now we're just like, hey, remember when we're pulling a Chris Farley show? But when we first got on Comcast all those years ago, Dave Kamens got pissy because I would wear white, and I guess it would wash me out on TV. And he would get very mad, and I'd be like, you're not paying me to do this. And two, if you want me to wear different things, buy me some colored shirts then. Otherwise, I'm going to wear white shirts. I have white shirts. And he said something to me once about it. And so for the next 8 days, I wore a white shirt. And he texted me, he goes, okay, prove it. He's like, you're just trying to piss me off. I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's funny what people won't do when you don't pay them.
Yes. Like, hey, can you wear a different shirt? Yeah, if you pay me or give me money to buy different clothes. But until then, I'm going to wear what I have.
Well, U.S. Representative Buddy Carter, a Republican from Georgia, is trending today.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's a really sharp guy with brilliant ideas.
I sense sarcasm from you.
What are you talking about? I think this is going to be such a cool idea.
He has introduced a bill authorizing President Trump to negotiate the purchase of Greenland from Denmark.
Yeah.
And it would be, once the purchase is final...
It's not going to be Greenland anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
It would be named Red, White, and Blueland.
Oh, my God. Why are we so dumb?
That's right.
It's America, yeah! Are we aware of the fact, too, that Norway has said 1 million times no? I don't.
His bill gives the Office of the Secretary of the Interior 6 months to update all federal documents to reflect the island's new name if the acquisition goes through.
Someone got banned from the AP today from covering anything at the White House because they won't call it the Gulf of America.
Did they officially change that?
I don't think they...
I don't think you... I mean, I think it's just what you call it, but I guess in the AP, the Associated Press, they still refer to it as the Gulf of Mexico, and so the White House said they banned the AP reporters because they call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Still going with the Gulf of cheaper eggs.
The amount of things that I can't do it.
Why not?
I'm just going to shut up. Shouldn't we break?
He also has a separate bill called the Make Greenland Great Again Act.
Ah, yes.
What
are we doing? What?
Is that meteor getting close?
Yeah, of all the things that we have to worry about,
Make America great, bitch.
This is where we're spending our time.
So do you want to hear about the big Ozempic? I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you next.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, so if you're taking Ozempic, you better stop. Next on the Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. What's Neil O'Shea up to right now? Was he advising Philly? Is that where he was advising? The 76ers? I want to say it was Philly. So, that advice, I don't know if that was good advice. They're not doing particularly well. No, people in Philly are calling for everything to be blown up at this point. Like, what are we doing here? We're 10 games below 500.
It's something to control your insulin levels. It's for diabetics, but then it's got weight loss properties. And for a while, I don't think they fully understood why people were losing weight on it. It's like Viagra. And now it's ridiculously expensive, and everyone wants to be on it because a bunch of people are having success and losing a bunch of weight.
So they've linked the shots to conditions that cause inflammation and block blood flow to the eye.
Oh.
Causing severe and sometimes permanent vision loss.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So be careful.
Well, and already they're saying that there's more studies are saying that it's like eating holes in people's digestive tracts and is causing serious colon and stomach issues.
My eyes are very important.
And for a lot of people, they say that the reason why you lose weight on it is you feel like crap and you're nauseous all the time, so you stop eating.
So researchers have detailed 9 new reports of U.S. patients who were blind after taking it. Well, it's actually, there's 2 active ingredients in Ozempic.
Yeah.
Semaglutide.
Yeah, that's what the generic ones. So they're all. I think they're all called the semaglutides.
And tirzepatide.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that.
But one woman injected 1 dose of semaglutide to her for her diabetes, and woke up the next morning blind in her left eye.
Oh, sounds awesome.